Hello, everybody, and welcome to the afternoon tune. I'm your host, Josh, and with me is my special guest host today, Sage. Sage, what's going on?
Hey, doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Problem Sage is from Rated M for Immaturity Twitch channel, YouTube channel there, playing a variety of different games. Sage, let everybody know about you, what you got going on, what you got coming up next.
Hey, you can find me over at Rated M for Immaturity on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all under that exact same handle. Tomorrow we're going to be wrapping up, I think, Uncharted 3, and then, a little bit of a mystery of what we're doing next. We also just, after 50 streams and a year and a half, finished Elden Ring. Finally, just in time for that DLC to come out and give us 50 more hours of game.
Yeah, everybody's playing that DLC now, or
Yeah.
getting into Elden Ring for the first time because of the DLC. Yeah, so that DLC, Shadow of the Tree,
Yep, Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Tree there. So yeah, that is out right now. People can check it out. Um,
Kicking everybody's butt.
uh, Pretty difficult, huh?
My understanding is that the first boss of the DLC is about as difficult as some of the optional, like, harder bosses in the base game.
Mm. Oh, okay. All right. And you guys gonna be playing that somewhat soon, or taking a big
We're going to be taking a little bit of a break, just because it's been like a year and a half straight of nothing but Elden Ring every Saturday. So we'll be playing a few games in between: Evil West, Wo Long Fallen Dynasty, Titan Souls, and then kind of end of the summer, beginning of the fall, I think we'll get back into it.
okay? All right. Well, yeah, we're gonna be doing some video game stuff here, doing all the big announcement. I missed a lot of that when I was gone. So a lot of trailers to discuss. They had to talk about all these new games that are coming out. Also, some more footage from some more games that have already been announced. Things like Sparking Zero, Dragon Ball Z, things like Star Wars Outlaws. Had a little bit more footage from that. So yeah, discuss a little bit of that. And next stream got coming up is Friday. Gonna be doing a stream there, Nick and Dusk. Gonna be joining me, gonna be reviewing Quiet Place, day one. Also gonna be doing The Kind of Kindness, doing that, the new Yorgos Lanthimos film. Saturday, I'm gonna be doing a review for But I'm a Cheerleader and Star Wars Acolyte, doing a review of that. So far it's halfway through. It's only 8 episodes. 4 episodes are out right now. So do a review for that. Chris with the Black Stones podcast gonna be joining me for that. And then I have someone from the Cosmopolitics Twitch channel is going to be joining me for But I'm a Cheerleader, reviewing that for Pride Month, since it is Pride Month this month. And after this show, I'm going to be rating somebody. Mini Portable's on right now. Dante's on. If you had any suggestions of who I should rate, please let me know. Any LGBTQ creators, let me know if you know of any. I'd like to rate them for this Pride Month as well. But yeah, Ellen Cemetery's on playing that Tekken 8. So yeah, good stuff there. Kara Fly, she's on right now playing Elden Ring. She's playing first time playing Elden
There you
Ring.
go.
So yeah, there's that. So yeah, got all this stuff to be discussing there. Still gonna finish up Hunter x Hunter. We're gonna be doing that maybe next Monday, doing the fourth arc review of that. Then we're done with that. I think next up is Berserk. I think next up
Yep. Yeah,
is
the
and
97 anime.
doing a review for that. I'm maybe gonna do arc by arc review with Mike Hedgewood. We're gonna be doing maybe arc by arc review of One Piece. Maybe doing that every Sunday. Gotta talk to him about that. See if my schedule can be freed up. But yeah, that is what's planned there. With these streams. So the different video game conferences. You had Nintendo Direct. You had State of Play, Summer Game Fest. You had Day of the Devs, and you had Developer Direct. Am I missing anyone there?
Um, God, there's so many. There was the Devolver Digital one, and then there's the Xbox one as well. You might have said those already, though. It's just so many, I lost track.
Let's see. Now I said Nintendo Direct, State of Play, Summer Game Fest, Day of the Devs, Developer Direct.
Okay, so yeah, the Xbox showcase as well.
Okay, let me see what happened with the Xbox showcase here. So just going through here, all the big kind of news with some of these games, and pull up these trailers and discuss them. So it's a lot of going to be just reactions. What we're going to be doing in this stream here. All right. So let's get into it. Don't want it to be too long of a show. So let's do Nintendo Direct, which happened here. This was last week. This came out. It was the 18th. Uh,
Yeah, this was the most recent one, kind of the last of all the shows.
yeah. So stuff that they announced here. Pull it up here. So they had Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Is one of the games here. So this is the game that people were upset about. Yeah, you get to play Zelda. Was this the game?
Oh, there are probably at least 5 games through all of these shows that the incels were freaking out about. This is one for sure. Yeah, they're just mad that they're just mad that they're playing a Zelda. I guess I mean there really isn't anything else that I can understand about it. It just seems I think the game looks awesome. Really creative, different power sets and mechanics that you use to get around the world. And it's a kind of seems like a sequel to the Link's Awakening, which is personally one of my favorite Zelda games.
The style of it is like a throwback to when it was on Game Boy Advance.
Yes, it was 2 years ago they did a remake of Link's Awakening, which was one of those old. It actually was an older Nintendo game or an older Legend of Zelda game, and it got the top-down camera perspective, much more of that overworld style that you associate with the old school games. And this seems like it seems like a sequel to that remake.
Okay. Right. So yeah, I mean, like the style is kind of combining the old, the new, put together there with the kind of the graphics there of much of that older style of what we've seen from Zelda. Yeah. So I don't get why people are mad about it.
No,
um,
I don't understand at all. But
yeah.
the game also has a really interesting different set of mechanics here. You're not a sword wielding warrior. You're a mage. So she's got this mechanic where you can just clone any item, any piece of the environment. You can clone enemies even. So you can use these things and just kind of create copies of anything, whether it's a table or an enemy that you can throw out there to fight other enemies for you. I really like that they're playing into the actual you know
Creativity of the
power
player
that
here.
yeah, creativity of the player, and just that Zelda is a mage. Like, don't just give her a sword and have it be the same game, but with a different looking, just a different skin on the character. Like, it actually, let's play to what is unique about and different about this character.
Mm, yeah. So it's really, I mean, you can really play how you want here of just using your creativity, kind of going if you want to make copies, you said, of anything, you see where she's stacking tables, she's stacking beds to, go through obstacles.
Yep.
Hmm, okay.
And then you can make copies of the enemies that you come across, so you can even like do like a mage summoner type thing, and they're right there, and just have these enemies come out and do the fighting for you and kind of command them around a little bit. It just seems like a lot of options, a lot of hey, you can kind of approach these situations however you want to as a player.
Yeah. And this comes out September 26th is when this
Yeah, real soon.
real soon there. I wonder because they still, you think they're holding off on announcing a new Nintendo Switch till later in the year?
That's an interesting question because a lot of people have been saying, and it's the last reveal of this showcase. So we'll talk about it when we get to it. But there's a game in this list that people think may be running on the Switch too, just because visually it looks a solid leap ahead, better than like any of the other things that they showed.
Yeah. Radical265 says, I
Yeah.
found playing a Zelda refreshing, and for the first time ever, Zelda being the main character. I don't count Zelda CD 1.
Oh, CDI. That was
CDI.
like an old school game, yeah.
How many
Not like
times
a
have you
mainline.
played Zelda as the main character?
I guess maybe that CDI game, but like I said, that's kind of a weird spinoff, so I could see why you wouldn't count it. And then Other than like Super Smash Brothers, I'm struggling to really remember another time you actually played as Zelda. So this seems, yeah, I'm with Radical. I think it seems super refreshing and different. Like, why not? How many Zelda Legend of Zelda games have there been? The only thing that would have been funnier is if the game was called The Legend of Link, because you never play as Zelda in any of the games called Legend of Zelda. That's maybe just the one missed opportunity.
Yeah. It says, yeah, spin-off game Zelda appears in 3 CDI games based on the Legend of Zelda series, which were developed out of an agreement between Philips and Nintendo to use the Zelda characters on the CDI console. Link: The Faces of Evil, Zelda: The Wand of Gamelon, and then Zelda's of Adventure.
I definitely don't remember those last two.
Uh, and she's a playable character in her Hyrule Warriors. Uh,
Oh
Hyrule
yeah, that
Warriors.
was like kind of a Dynasty Warriors game with a Zelda skin on it that they did.
Yeah. Yeah, so September 6th here. So, the next one is Mario and Luigi. Brothership is kind of the next one we have here. And Mario and Luigi Brothership here all aboard for an all-island hopping RPG adventure starring Mario and Luigi. The brothers are back for a brand new entry in the Mario and Luigi series, where they set sail on a ship-shaped island, part ship, part island, to navigate the vast world of Conquadora, play as the Mustachio Pair, and explore the islands here. Okay. What do you think about this?
It's certainly interesting. Personally, I have not played any of the Mario RPG games that have come out in the past. I really wanted to play the remake they just released of the very, very original Mario RPG. But yeah, I've never really spent any time with the RPG franchise or the sub franchise for Mario. So I don't totally know what to expect based on any sort of history, but I think it looks fun. It's interesting. I mean, one of the things I love about Nintendo is them just willing to completely change up the kind of gameplay, even within a single franchise. And so,
The animation here looks
maybe
more cell shaded, kind of a little bit,
it
or
does have a bit more of a cell shade, kind of like there's like thick lines around a lot of things. That yeah, I feel like every Mario game has just an ever so slightly different art style to it.
yeah. Mm. And they're riding around on a ship slash island there. That's pretty interesting there. And then I guess you're hopping to different islands there. You're kind of like adventure, like being a pirate, and then you're blasting to different islands in a way there.
Yep,
And
and
then
then this does have like full on. I think it's full on turn-based combat.
oh yeah, you see it
Yeah,
right
like
here.
you got the almost yeah, it's like the old school Final Fantasy kind of thing.
Hmm. Would you pick this up?
I'd be interested in checking it out. I don't know if it's not on my list as like a day one type thing, but I'd certainly be curious to go and check it out at some point.
And this comes out November 7th of this year. November 7th. There, good old brothership there. What's the last Mario game you played? Mario and Luigi game.
That's like the both of them. Hmm. The last Mario game I really played all the way through was Odyssey for the Switch. So that wasn't really like a both of them type. Yeah, I honestly don't remember.
Mm. Yeah. Didn't you play Luigi's was my oh no, that was just Luigi's Mansion there, Haunted
Oh,
Mansion.
the Luigi's Mansion. I did play the Luigi's Mansion. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Radical says here after Bowser's Inside Story remake on 3DS, the dev Alpha Dream went bankrupt, so we don't know who is behind it at the moment.
Oh yeah, that
Mario,
is an interesting detail because Nintendo's kind of weird recently, in the last few years, about like being upfront about like what team is making what game. I don't know why that's the case, but they it seems to be like pulling teeth to get them to tell you like what studio's working on a project anymore.
Uh, I don't see much information here, but yeah, it says yeah, it says that in the development for this game, Mario and Luigi Brothers ships after the series creator Alpha Dream filed for bankruptcy in 2019. Nintendo filed a new trademark for Mario and Luigi in January 2020 and June 2024. Following the review of the game, Nintendo noted that some of the original developers from the franchise are involved in the development of Brothership.
Okay, so some of the core individuals at least.
Yeah, and Radical says Mario and Luigi games were also exclusive to handhelds until now.
Mm. That's fair because I have not ever really been much of one for handheld. gaming, so it would make sense why I've missed some of those then.
We have Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. There. Experience the chronological beginning of the Edric trilogy storyline in this remake of the original RPG classic, now with the vibrant HD 2D visuals and an expanded narrative that you have here. Are you a fan of the Dragon Quest series?
I have never played a Dragon. The most I've interacted with Dragon Quest is they put the like protagonist in as a Smash Bros. Character in the last Smash game. But I've never played a Dragon Quest game ever. I know that Akira Toriyama, if I'm not mistaken, was involved in some of the art
Yeah.
and stuff for the originals. But yeah, I really am not too familiar with this franchise.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell by some of the hair. I mean, the hair is pretty spiky there.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, like the main character. And it's always a telltale sign. He loves the spiky hair, Akira Toriyama there. But yeah, uh, hmm. Like I like the art style of it. Like the kind of the turn-based combat that you have here. I've never played a Dragon Quest game myself. But I do like I think the visuals have popped very nicely. I think the visuals
Yeah, I like the
pop
way it
very
looks a lot. I'd certainly be willing to give it a try. Go check it out. I don't know if this is one of those franchises where you skip ahead to the third game and you're not going to know what's going on, or if they stand alone more. Or, yeah, it'd have to be a whole research project for me to start playing these.
Yeah. And this November 14th is when this game comes out of this year. Let's see what else we got here. Another Mario game. Here, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Is the other one here. Mario and friends are arriving on an enormous island resort for the latest entry in the Mario Party series. Explore 5 new game boards, ride the escalators in Rainbow Galleria, stay on track, roll 'em raceway, and mix things up with the active volcano in Goomba Lagoon, just to name a few. The Mario Party. That's good. I mean, Mario Party is probably good if you're playing with a lot of people, more of a like invite friends over type of game.
Yeah, I mean it's like a big board game, and there's tons of like mini games depending on what spot you're landing on, and stealing like currency from each other, and it's very much a party game. It's personally never really been my franchise, but maybe I just never had a room full of enough drunk people to have enough have fun with it.
Radical says about the past game. He says with Dragon Quest, our first title was on the NES called Dragon Warrior. Dragon Quest are standalone titles.
Well,
Um,
there you go. So I could play this one without going back and playing the others.
he said I think we only got the first two on NES, and then we didn't get another initially till 8 on PS2. So
Okay.
it's there. So yeah, Mario Party, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Yeah, a lot of fun adventure stuff there. I guess if you got a lot of people over, wanted to do some stuff, I think that's typically the appeal of Nintendo is that hey, you got a lot of people over, have some fun, whip out the Joy Cons, uh, get pass it around. Even though I think Super Smash is probably would be probably more there. Having a bunch of people play
Yeah, I'd rather throw that on for sure.
Yeah, having probably that goes on there. I think I need to get new Joy Cons. I think mine's have a drift problem. I think I can get new ones.
Yep, that they're pretty notorious for that. I had three PS5 controllers have the drift problem on me, but I've never had a Switch controller do it for whatever reason.
Yeah, I've had to get a new PS5 controller just to because they just died so quick. Like they started dying really super quick, so I had to get new
Yeah.
ones for that. And it's not cheap to get new controllers. It's like $70
Mm.
to get new
It's,
controllers.
it's getting ridiculous, frankly.
Yeah, I mean that's the price of a game to get new controllers
Yeah.
there. So yeah, Super Mario Party Jamboree comes out October 17th. Um, Radical says Pro controller or go home is what I say when it comes to the Switch. I've always debated about getting a Pro controller. That's also $70. You can get that. Um,
I got one on sale during a holiday season, and it is generally what I prefer to
how
play the
much was
Switch.
it? $50 on sale.
For the sale I got it, it was like 35.
Oh, that's pretty nice. Wow, that's a good steal. Classic game. is returning. We got Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong are back for some ground pounding action in this HD version of Donkey Kong Country Returns, originally released on the Wii system. The villainous Tiki Tack tribe has stolen Donkey Kong's precious banana hoard, and the Kongs are barreling after them in pursuit. Yeah, how much of it? Yeah, this I remember playing this way back there. Um, back there. Hmm. Very classic all that type of stuff there.
I love this game, but I am also not good at it. I don't know what it is about the rhythm and the timing, but like I've beaten every Souls game at this point, but for some reason, this is like that mountain I still have to conquer.
Yeah, damn, Diddy Kong all about that branding, huh? Wearing a Nintendo hat, huh? Yeah. Jeez, he wanna let you know what game system you playing. I might pick this. I think this looks really fun. I good old memories playing some old Donkey Kong Country again. I do remember this level. I remember this level. Yeah, yeah, on the train tracks there. Hmm. Yeah. Good about that nostalgia. Nintendo's always very good about the nostalgia. Very good about that, bringing that back. Mm.
Most of the time, they do nostalgia the right way.
Yeah. Do you think it's too much classic characters? Mario, Luigi, Donkey Kong, Zelda. You think it's too much of the?
Um, I think like we'll say that Zelda game that we just looked at is a good example of how they're willing to change the formula so much still and do something that feels very different. Um, I don't think they've worn out any of those franchises. I mean, Metroid sat out for like a whole console generation, like a whole decade without getting new games, and now we've got three almost back to back all of a sudden. So they kind of bring certain stuff in and out. You know what I think they should bring back was F-Zero. They haven't touched that since like the SNES.
F-Zero. Okay, that'd be a classic one to bring back there. All right, and this is coming out January 16th, for next year, early next year. It's coming out there. We got Lego Horizon Adventures. They're making a Lego version of
Yeah,
Horizon.
this was also at the Sony State of Play too. This is a weird one.
Um, I don't know, is this a way to kinda is this like another version of them trying to do like a remakes when they do the remakes now of like, hey, they're gonna do Lego versions of the games, you think?
It's funny that you say that because there's also supposedly a remake of the first Horizon game in the works anyway. So
Mm,
there's and my understanding is that there's a remake of the first game, a third game, this Lego spin-off, a live action TV series, and a live service multiplayer game. I think like I know this is a popular franchise, but I think this is one that they might be going a little too all in on.
I didn't know that Horizon was that big for all that to be happening, with I know it's
Yeah,
popular,
yeah.
um
I mean, I'll say it's not a franchise that I totally understand the level. Like there's things about it I think are cool. I've played both of the two games all the way through. And I thought they were all right, but I just didn't. I don't know. They didn't feel so groundbreaking to me like they seem to be for a lot of people. And so yeah, to see so many spin-offs and a remake and a TV show and just all this stuff, I'm like, I don't know. I get that it's popular, but maybe too much too soon. Like the first game is a brand new IP, and from what 2016 the first game released, and I don't know. I think maybe a little too much too soon.
Mm. Who is this for? Like, kinda younger audience who can't maybe the original game is too hard for them, so it's like maybe they play the Lego
Maybe,
version of it?
but and like those games have like really good difficulty settings and accessibility options. So I don't know. I guess you can have a two-player mode here. It's the other thing that I think is odd is that I played some of the Lego games, and usually the appeal is it's based off of like an entire set of movies like Star Wars or Marvel, like right, it's a whole comic universe, and the appeal is usually that there's like a ridiculous, just like ludicrous number of characters to play as that you can unlock and switch between, and I'll have like little slightly different powers and stuff. Here, I'm really like, how many playable characters? Like for that being like the gimmick of the Lego video game franchises. I'm like, how are you gonna get that many different playable characters in this? Because you only play as one, and sure, there's some NPCs that might be interesting, but like not that many. I don't know. It's. I have questions about how this one's gonna work.
Mm. And this is coming out the holiday season. This is coming out here. Reticle said F Zero has been dead since the GameCube title.
Yep, yep. I'm
Um,
pulling for them to bring it back.
Sage, you look like you're a dancing guy. You like to dance. It seems like like that. We got Just
I
Dance.
can hold the beer and do the white guy sway. I got that done.
We got Just Dance 2025 edition. You can bust out, dance to your favorite Lady Gaga song, Taylor Swift song.
I mean, I guess people are still buying these. I forget they exist, to be honest. I just see there's still little fanfare for them now that E3 doesn't exist anymore.
Aren't they bringing back Rock Band or Guitar Hero? I think trying to bring that back.
I think there is going to be some sort of attempt to bring Rock Band back, but it might be like inside or like through the guise of Fortnite somehow because the Epic bought that studio. And so it might be Fortnite's slowly turning into Ready Player One. They bought Rocket League, they put Rocket League in Fortnite. They bought Rock Band, they put Rock Band. It's going to be Ready Player One at a certain point.
Mm, yeah, I know there's still some people who are like professional rock band people, players. You know what I mean? That can do all the combos, moves, all that stuff like that. Yeah, their fingers go crazy. Yeah.
Imagine that practice on an instrument.
Yeah, and then you get actual guitar players who try to play rock band. I can't play this shit. Yeah, it's funny how that kind of happens there. But hey, if people want to check it out, this October coming to the Switch, Just Dance 2025 edition. There, I don't know. I guess if again, if
Kids,
you have
I
a
think.
oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think if you have kids and like young kids and do stuff as like family activities in the living room, I feel like that's kind of mostly who's probably picking that up.
Yeah, something like like same demographic, probably Super Mario Party, Jamboree.
Yeah,
Something for a party game. You're drunk, like karaoke or something. Maybe you want to
yeah,
do
totally.
that. Do that there. Radical says they also had Wii ports up till Just Dance 2020.
Oh wow, they're
Um,
still releasing a Wii version. The Wii was, I mean, they stopped making Wii games in like what 2012 for the most part. So
I
that's
believe.
wild.
And he says, I just want to know who keeps buying these Just Dance games. I mean, I guess arcades, I guess too. I mean, arcades might pick it up. I
Maybe
guess.
some arcades. I think yeah, mostly families with young kids.
Yeah, that game I'm really excited about. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
Yeah. So this is the
Uh,
one I was talking about when I was saying a lot of people think that this is running on the Switch too. Just the way that it looks, the visual fidelity here. This just looks a lot better than anything I've ever seen running on the Switch. It would be
even
funny for Nintendo to. Oh, I'm sorry.
even Breath of the Wild, you think?
I mean, I think Breath of the Wild is a great game, and it looks great running on the system, but it is it is tailoring a very simplistic art style to run and play the way that it does. This looks a lot more gritty, way more detailed. Like the texturing and the environment just seems like it's got a lot more to it. The character models just have a lot more like small details, battle damage on like the body that you come across there. Yeah, I think like the sparks coming off the particle effects that you're seeing as things fall apart here. Yeah, I don't think the Switch is capable of looking this good. I really don't.
Mm, yeah. I can say it's kind of like, what do you think? PS3 type graphics here? PS3?
Yeah, I mean it's still got a somewhat cartoony art style too, because I don't think they're gonna just drop that completely. It's still a Metroid game, still Nintendo. But I mean, I'd say I'd say like early PS4.
Hmm. Okay. Radical says here, I have a good feeling it's going to be be on both the Switch and Switch 2 at the same time? Oh, yeah, I probably think so too. They're
I
they're
can
gonna
see that.
wait a minute till phase out the first Switch, and then, they'll cater both at first, and this is 2025. No exact date,
Yeah.
just 2025.
That
Yeah.
also makes me think it's going to be for sure on the Switch too, just because every rumor has been pointing to a 2025 release for the Switch too as well.
Yeah. Something else that came out of the developer Nintendo Direct here. Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online would do Mature 17, a new collection of Mature 17 plus Nintendo 64 games is on the way. You also have like a Perfect Dark game developed here by Rare. Now with online multiplayer part of the new Nintendo 64. Do you have the like Switch Online? Do you have that? Oh, you don't have a Switch.
No, I have a Switch.
Oh, okay.
I don't have the online subscription active though. I just don't play games online enough for it to really be worth it.
Okay. It says Nintendo Switch Online Mature 17 plus collection of games will be available later today. So this was yeah. Have you checked that out at all?
No, I haven't. I mean, I'd go in Perfect Dark. I would definitely pick that up. Have a copy of that. That's a game that I feel like is not going to be easily available without a release like this. Now, are those games that purely are coming with having that online membership, or can you purchase those titles individually? Because that'd be the big difference to me.
I think these are only available with the expansion of the actual like Nintendo 64 like if you have that. They specify yeah,
Okay.
Nintendo Switch Online, yeah.
It
Uh
would mean a lot more to me if they like put them up for individual sale on their eShop store.
mm. And then it's Perfect Dark and Turok
Oh, okay.
Dinosaur Hunter. Do you know that one?
Yeah, Turok's an old classic FPS game from the 90s. Yeah, it's some of the like the dinosaur stuff that like Tomb Raider would do a little bit, but more in that kind of old school boomer shooter style.
Yeah. Radical says here, I refuse to pay for Switch Online expansion. Too expensive for that level of drip feed. I'll just stick to PC and emulation. How
Yeah,
much
that's
is
the big thing. I think it's like $7 a month, but I think the so which isn't a lot, but I think the thing that really sticks it and makes it to me not worth it, and I agree with Radical, is that they drip feed those game releases. So it's not like they put, hey, here's a big collection of N64 games. It's like a couple, and then in like 6 months they'll put like two or three more out there. And it's like, guys, you could just charge a subscription fee and have a massive catalog of games that we know you have the rights to. You could just put them on there. You get way more people signing up. So yeah, I do think the drip feed element of it is a problem.
We also have Hello Kitty Island Adventure. We got that
Ooh, my
there.
favorite of the show.
You like cats? You're a cat guy.
I do like
Uh,
cats.
yeah.
I don't know about
So,
Hello Kitty though.
is Hello Kitty still huge in Japan? I know that's like a big Japanese thing, right? Hello Kitty. Is it
I mean,
still?
I know it's been a huge brand in the past. I don't know if it's still. I mean, they're still making games, I guess. So it's somebody's got to be buying merchandise.
Yeah, like a lot of yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was just I don't really see. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not in high school anymore. I'm not around underage girls anymore. But yeah, that used to be a big thing. A lot of girls used to love wearing Hello Kitty stuff,
Oh,
all
I
the time.
remember that, especially
Yeah,
in elementary school. I remember like every third girl had a Hello Kitty backpack.
yeah, that was yeah. So, but hey, it's like I guess it's kind of like Animal Crossing. I guess this is kind of like that. I
Yeah,
guess.
it looks like a Animal Crossing light. I mean, to be honest, this is one of those games I don't feel like is going to do super well because people that are into, you know, whether it's like Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley, I feel like there's big games that kind of corner those markets already. So
Yeah. But if people want to get it this holiday, it's coming out this holiday. Also you have Stray, which was the critically acclaimed game there that was on consoles. Now it's coming to like PlayStation, Xbox. Now it's coming to Nintendo. There.
like a cat running around in the future, sci-fi kind
Yeah.
of.
Uh, I heard this game is really good. I haven't checked it out. Don't think it's my type of game there, but I heard it's really good game. What you kind of can do, walking around the environment. Have
I
you
know
played it?
several people who were. I haven't played it, but I know several people who did, and it's it seems the kind of people this is for, it lands very very well with. I'm kind of same as you. I don't think it's really for me, but there's people out there that love it. So
Yeah. Radical said, doesn't help that the Turok trilogy just got remastered on just about everything. And then he also said you can also emulate everything up to the Nintendo 64 on console, Game Boy Advance, PSP, and DS on a bare bones basic PC. So that's why I feel like people are just throwing away their money. You can use a Switch Pro controller on a PC as well. He says there. Also, The Stray is coming out this holiday. That's when The Stray is coming out. You also have Tales of the Shire, the Lord of the Rings game. We talked about this before um, in Discord there. So this is, I guess, supposed to be more of a chill type game. It seems like just
yeah, I think it's weirdly enough a lot probably like that Hello Kitty game,
yeah.
and just another kind of not quite Animal Crossing, not quite Stardew Valley. You're just kind of hanging out, and it seems like it's mostly guarding. Again, it's not for me. There's going to be an audience of people that this is for that are going to absolutely love it. I'm just not much of a cozy game person to begin with, so.
Yeah, this isn't even the same shots as Hello Kitty. Like you get to design your own little, little home here and garden and yeah,
It's like they
cook.
use this like the same like prototype to edit the trailer.
Yeah, you get to skip. You get to skip in the Shire. Look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
You and
mean,
your big fucking hobbit feet. Yeah. Yeah.
there's a slider for how big you want your feet to be.
Oh, really? Oh.
Oh, I don't know. I just know there is.
Oh. But that'd be funny if you can do that. Yeah. So I mean, hey, this is a cozy type game. It's Animal Crossing for Tolkien nerds. If you really, I guess, are into Tolkien and that universe and the Shire and everything, I guess this is for you.
Yeah. Some people, they love games that are about relaxing. I want to be getting like shot at and stressed out when I play video games. So it's not my thing, but hey, there's people that this is going to be all for.
And then Radical asks, who asked for a Shire
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I know at least one person that's going to be super into this though.
Ulysses said the Shire game needs optional orc invasions or dragon attacks like how SimCity had disasters.
That would
Um,
be really funny. Just dragon fly by and grab a bunch of them in its feet and take off.
I think I saw in the trailer you did see like a wizard. I don't know if that's supposed to be Gandalf, but you did see a wizard.
I think it is. Yeah,
Okay,
it
yeah.
looks more like Gandalf than the Rings of Power is not Gandalf. So
Yeah. Some other stuff. You had Nintendo Switch Sports here. You also had Nintendo World Champions NES Edition. Funko Fusion was a game that also got announced here.
that
Experience
felt like a dystopian microcosm of capitalism.
Yeah, Funko Fusion is a experience your favorite franchises from across TV, film, comics, and games. Explore diverse and colorful worlds, solve puzzles, and relive memorable moments from over 20 worlds of entertainment, including Jurassic World, Back to the Future, Shaun of the Dead, Chucky, and Battlestar Galactica. Huh. So it's like Ready Player One, the game. Let's see. Let's see the
But
trailer.
with like Funko Pop figure. I hope they didn't spend a lot of money making that one.
Uh-huh. Do you have Funko Pop?
I've got a couple. I got a couple, but like some people are obsessed with these things, and I don't understand it.
Some people collect them like they're gonna sell a lot of money or something. Like they're baseball cards, like rookie cards or something like that. All of a sudden, they're gonna be worth a lot of money one day. Some people do. A whole wall of them.
Yeah, doing the Beanie Baby thing.
Yeah. Who the hell is that? Oh, who the hell is who's this meth head? Who is that? I think that
Is
was
that with the
hold on.
blonde hair right there? Is that Sean from Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah, that's Sean. I'm trying to rewind it back. It's loading real quick here. But yeah, so it's just basically you just living out moments in movies and things like that. Okay. This was what I was
Yeah,
talking about. Okay, it's like a Five Nights at Freddy thing. I don't know who this character is supposed to be, but
I think that's supposed to be. one of the characters from that the Umbrella Academy show.
Oh, oh, that dude. Oh yeah, I think. Oh yeah, it is that dude. Yeah, the dude from Umbrella Academy. The dude who can.
It's just such a random hodgepodge of thing. This is the one that I'm asking. Who was asking for this game?
Yeah. Um. Okay. All right. Scott Pilgrim is there. Um. This is the Jurassic World one. Uh, Battlestar Galactica, Chucky. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think IP crossovers have officially gone too far.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing. It won't be compared to. I mean, it's nothing in comparison to Fortnite. Like, Fortnite's got everybody. I mean, everybody you can think of.
Yeah, yeah.
This is September 13th. Funko Fusion. And then Radical said, "When Spider-Man had a collectible Funko Pop if you pre-ordered." Yeah, that
Probably.
probably. Memories in Orbit. Is another game that kind of got announced here. Let's see here. Memories in Orbit. A android with extraordinary abilities who awakens in the vessel, a gigantic derelict spaceship teeming with lush vegetation and machines gone rogue. Here. Have you taken a look at this trailer? I think it's
Uh, it, this is the with the kind of yes. This I thought actually was another one of the standouts for the Nintendo show. Just I think a really cool looking indie game. Really like the art style. It's got. I'm trying to think exactly how to describe it, but it's almost got like a watercolor texturing effect over it that just looks really interesting. This is definitely one I'm probably gonna pick up.
looks like right up your alley. Like something I think you would like here. Yeah. Unique kind of looking indie game that you have here.
Yeah,
Um,
cool art style, platformer, maybe some puzzle solving, no dialogue, or at least very little.
hmm,
Looks like it could be kind of hard, maybe depending on the what the timing is like for some of that stuff. Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
hmm, I like it. I like it quite a bit. And this is coming out just 2025. No exact date for it yet. We got Disney Illusion Island there. The mystery of the Monolith Free update there. Luigi's Mansions 2 HD. We got Game Boy Advance coming to Nintendo Switch Online. So you're gonna see Legend of Zelda: A Link to Past 4, and then Metroid Zero Mission. Both will be available there. Among Us is getting an update. Darkest Dungeon 2. Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. Um,
Looney Tunes deserves better than the way that game looks.
let me check it out here. I haven't seen the trailer for this. Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports.
Looney
Uh,
Tunes also just deserves better than the last like 50 years.
mhm. Eh, not the most exciting looking art style. It looks kind of cheap there.
Yeah, it looks real. Like, why even make it? Like, you're not going to try a little harder.
Didn't Mario had a game like this? Like where he was playing all the different sports?
Uh, with Mario, I think they've made an individual game for every sport at this point.
Okay.
So I think it's like a whole collection of different games.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't look all that good, that animation. Yeah. And then Radical said it looks like a Wii title. Yeah, it kind of does look
It does. It does.
like a Wii title
Maybe
there.
even older.
Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. There. This one was, I don't know if this was the one that people went the most crazy for, but it was the one that probably was the most unexpected, possibly. And that was this Marvel versus Capcom fighting collection, arcade classics there. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a surprise. This was a big surprise. These games have been unavailable for purchase for a while. I know there was Marvel vs. Capcom 2 had a release on like the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 digital stores, and that was kind of a reprogrammed version of it to run on those systems. That it had a lot of issues, from what I remember, just the way it ran, missing features and stuff. This is when I spent some time like looking into. I believe that this version they're releasing is the actual original arcade versions of the game, like not any of the like reprogrammed for console type stuff. Like this is the actual original versions of the game. But I mean they could have put out just two and charged $30 for it, and I probably would have bought it. But the fact that it's both games plus the two X-Men versus Street Fighter games, and then the like Punisher Nick Fury team up beat 'em up game. I hadn't even heard of that one before, so that's yeah. This I can't wait for this. This is awesome.
Yeah, and you can people can pre-order it right now. It's 49.99. People say I'm going to get the physical edition just in case they try to take it again from people. So a lot of people are saying that. So you're getting a bunch of games with this. Like you're getting X-Men versus Street Fighter here. You're getting Marvel versus Capcom 2. The Punisher game you mentioned there. X-Men Children of the Atom you're getting here. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck for
I think
that.
seven total.
Yeah, 7 total. Yeah, you are getting
That's
7
crazy.
total. Yeah, Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superhero versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Capcom, Marvel versus Capcom 2, the Punisher game, as well with the online co-op there is also supported on that. Yeah, that is really a lot of great stuff there for that. You also have Phantom Brave, The Lost Hero, the 100 Line Last Defense Academy, um, Ace Attorney, Investigations, collection there. Fairy Tale 2, Romancing, yeah, but no, nothing interesting, I think, for the rest of the show there. But, yeah, Nintendo Direct. So that was the latest one there, from all the shows there. Is there anything else you wanna talk about from Nintendo Direct? Any other
No, excuse me, sorry. That covered everything I was interested in.
okay. Let's go to May. State of play. We're going back a little bit here. Some of the stuff that was kind of announced there. Astrobot. Um,
Yeah, this looks. I think this looks awesome. So, question for you: did you play the free like Astrobot game that came with the PS5?
no, I did not.
I think that was a lot of fun. I mean, it's a free title. It captures a certain kind of Nintendo platformer charm. And that free like tech demo was seemingly popular enough and well liked enough for them to do a full blown sequel to it. And
Mm,
this will be a full release game rather than just like a short little. I mean, that Astrobot, that tech demo, you could play that in like an hour or two.
mm. Is it kind of like a little bit of like a little Big Planet type thing, or
Um, I would compare it more to almost stuff like Banjo and Kazooie and like kind of almost the N64 PlayStation 1 style platformer games. Closer to like a original Sly Cooper or an old Crash Bandicoot um or Mario 64 even though it's a PlayStation game. It really has that vibe and era of games. And the tech demo was meant to be a thanks for buying the new system and here's kind of like a little fun reflective kind of journey on like what all of the different generations of the console have been.
so is he the console mascot?
This is the closest thing to a successful console mascot that we've had in a while, I think. It's something I think we maybe struggle with in modern gaming a little bit, like just like except for Nintendo. But Xbox and PlayStation, like you used to get stuff like Sly Cooper or Ratchet and Clank. And you still have maybe sequels here and there, but I don't know if there's like really too much in the way of like, hey, that's that console mascot. Like, back in the day, it was Mario, Sega, Crash and Spyro for Sony, but that's kind of over now. And this feels like a nice little callback to those kinds of days.
Mm, okay. Looks fun though. I like what they're showing is like good footage. So you can also go in. It lets you kind of play out some classic moments from a lot of PlayStation, Sony video game franchises too.
Yeah, like so the tech demo, it was like literally the world of the game it was like inside of a PlayStation system, and you were going to like the different like circuits or like processing units of the system, and each one of them like represented a different console generation. And I assume they're going to do something similar here, where you're gonna go to different areas, and they'll be reminiscent of certain things throughout the kind of history of all the different studios.
I see they do Uncharted one. They did a God of War one. Here, okay.
Now, there's a bunch of characters right in that little last little shot there too.
Let me see.
The
So
Horizon. Um,
you got Kratos
what else?
here. I think this is supposed to be Nathan Drake. Yeah, the Nathan Drake right
Yep.
here to the far right.
Ape Escape, right behind Aloy back there. Yeah, there's I mean the tech demo had a surprising number of like there was Resident Evil stuff, there was Silent Hill stuff, like horror game stuff in there. So I imagine they're going to go pretty far with that.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he's the son of Toonami, that mascot.
Oh, totally.
Kind of looks like he's
Yeah.
the son of. Yeah. Oh, do they still have this guy? They still have him?
I haven't watched like cable in a very long time. I have no idea if they still use that on there.
Oh man, that was throwback classic there. Hey, how's it going there, sir?
2001.
Uh,
Hey, sir.
Good to see you there. State of Play also had Concord. There. Uh, Concord here is yeah, State of Play first look at the gameplay, universe, and characters of Concord, as well as how and when you'll be able to get your hands on the 5v5 character-driven first-person multiplayer shooter. A beta is planned for later this year, followed by Concord's global launch, PS5 and PC, August 23rd of this year. Um, what are your thoughts on Concord here?
I think this took up far too much time in this state of play. I, like I'll be upfront. I've never really liked the hero shooter genre in the first place. I didn't even care for Overwatch 1 when that
Also, it's
was
like
like a
Valorant. It
a
was like something
thing.
like Valorant.
Yeah, it's Valorant, Overwatch, Apex Legends. It's that style of game.
Oh, okay.
And I just had never been into these to begin with. And then let alone like, they open up the state of play with like a 10-minute CG cutscene and then they played another gameplay trailer on top of that. And it feels very kind of try hard at being Guardians of the Galaxy. I just don't think that there's much of a definable, unique identity in what we're looking at here. And also knowing that it's a hero shooter doesn't really give me any encouragement. If this is something that someone is interested in, it might, be worth knowing that I think their plan is to have like big cutscenes like released regularly so that you are getting maybe more of a story that plays out than maybe some other hero shooters. Not enough to get me interested personally, though.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the new business. Everybody wants to do these shooters like this. Is this free like something like Valorant or
No, that's the other thing. This is gonna be like I guess I don't know exactly what the price point will be, but it's at least gonna be a like priced title for sure. And then, I'm sure it'll be filled with microtransactions, even though you paid for the game. It's just kind of, yeah,
so we'll see when
worst
it
of both worlds in that sense.
um also some news, God of War Ragnarok, we already kind of knew this, coming on PC. That's gonna happen there.
Yeah.
People that don't have a PlayStation console there, you can get it on there. September 19th is when it's gonna be coming on PC there. Until Dawn. That was announced before, but now they have a gameplay trailer out right now. This is a remake of the Until Dawn game there, which I never played. I never played it. It's a game that's fun to watch other people play it. You know what I mean? Do those things. Nothing I would probably myself play, but it's fun to watch other people play and kind of make those decisions there. And you also had a lot of celebrities kind of be in this. You had Hayden Panettiere in this. You had Rami Malek in this. You had that. I think you.
Brett Dalton. I forget his name a lot. That Irish actor. He's in John Wick. You see him in he plays with like Slavic gangsters and just Peter Stormare. That's his name.
Oh yeah. You said you played it and you couldn't keep the black guy alive or something. You were saying, or
The game sets him up to fail. I swear. There's a moment like a third of the way into the game where you have to choose not to use a flare gun, even though it seems like the smart choice. so he'll have a chance to defend himself with it later. But if you can't think that far ahead, he's dead. There's like nothing else can get him out of that situation.
Mm. But did you had fun playing it? Fun time playing it?
Oh, this was my one of my favorite. I mean, not only one of my favorite horror games in general, honestly, but I thought this was one of the best PlayStation exclusives of the entire PS4 console generation. Um, it's only about to be 10 years old next year, so it's maybe, the kind of game people would say is a little soon for a remake. But at the same time, I think, there's probably enough people that have never played it that having an update to make it look, that more realistic, get in some new audience members that aren't familiar with it. I think that could be worth it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be a day one buy for me, but I'd like to get the updated version once it's on sale. I think, I it's a game that I think the story ended up being a lot more clever than it looks like it's going to be on the surface. It gave me a lot of Cabin in the Woods vibes, actually, the way it kind of plays around with conventions and defies expectations of the genre a little bit.
Okay. So people can pick it up. Yeah, it's gonna be out later this year. Skydance Behemoth. Um, it's the PS VR 2. I don't know if you're interested in that.
I don't even think Sony's interested in that anymore. They announced that they're like halting production pretty much entirely on the VR system.
mm, so I mean, I don't know. I don't think VR is ready for me to step into it yet, as far as that, but it's getting better. It's getting
It is
better.
getting better.
And this could be like one of the early concepts, like, okay, seeing what it can do, testing its limits, maybe getting better at that. But yeah.
I think with the exception of Half-Life Alex, which that's only on like on the PC VR rigs. With the exception of that one Half-Life Alex game, I think we've kind of been in the let's test it and see what it's capable of kind of frame of video games for like 10 years with these VR headsets at this point. Like they feel like they're perpetually in the let's test it out and see what we can do phase. But other than that one game, I feel like we're just not really seeing like full blown fleshed out experiences still.
Yeah. Path of Exile 2. Do you care about that one?
Uh, it's one I might check out. I think it looks interesting. I've never played one of these before, so I don't have a lot of knowledge really to carry into it. But I think it's at least interesting. Like I'm someone who has been disappointed in how Diablo's been handled, how Blizzard has kind of overly monetized that franchise, and so provided this doesn't have like a million microtransactions in it, I think it looks like it could be a really cool alternative to Diablo for someone like me, at least.
Mm. So Path of Exile. Let's see here. The next generation of free-to-play action RPG from Grinding Gear Games will be coming to PlayStation 5 with a great new feature, couch co-op. Join for early access later this year.
It's it's funny they have it's a free to play game and it's developed by Grinding Gears. Is the game named Grinding Gears?
You also have Monster Hunter Wilds. It's there. Um, hmm, Monster Hunter Wilds. It's the upcoming action RPG. Details the rich living world you'll be able to explore when it releases on PS5 in 2025. Is a dedicated In a dedicated PlayStation blog post, Capcom introduced some of the monsters and characters, as well as some more info on the hunter's new mount here. So it's kind of like, is it what's that game? Where you kind of fight all the big bosses. What's the name of that one? You know what I'm talking about? Uh,
Um, Fantasy game?
yeah,
You're not thinking of like Shadow of the Colossus, are you?
yeah. It's somewhat
Oh,
similar to.
I don't think so, really. I think Shadow of the Colossus is more like a boss rush action game, whereas Monster Hunter is like this big open world. And I've actually never played a Monster Hunter game myself, but They're
Did you see
very
the movie?
popular. I did not see the movie. I saw the trailer. I think that was enough. But Monster Hunter is much more of an RPG. You spend a lot more time kind of learning about the creatures before you fight them. Spending a lot of time like on like gear and stats and stuff. It's a lot more involved. It's a lot longer. I mean, I see people talk about spending like hundreds of hours on these things, whereas Shadow of the Colossus is some, you could beat that in like 10 hours. It's more just like more of a pure action game, I'd say.
Let's see here. Radical said Path of Exile didn't have bad microtransactions, but resetting your build costed money and is very complicated and very easy to screw up your build.
Interesting.
He said there. We have Silent Hill 2, which was that probably the biggest game out of State of Play, Silent Hill 2?
For me, at least personally, it definitely was. I'll be honest. I think Sony's show is a little weak this year. At least, I mean, to be fair, this is a state of play, not a showcase, which kind of means it's on the smaller side of things that they're going to show. So you kind of go in maybe not expecting a ton, but this for me was the big thing that I was excited about. This is another one of the games that get some of the incels on the internet mad about character designs, but I'm liking this a lot so far. I think
And what the hell is he fighting right here?
that's called a lying figure. So Silent Hill 2, the monsters represent things, very specific things going on with the psychology of the characters, and a lot of that is kind of part of the fun of the story and kind of piecing together what's going on and what the narrative actually is if it's a first time playthrough. So I don't want to say too much about what they are just because that's kind of part of the fun of experiencing that story for the first time.
Radical says I still see the hate for Angela's character model. People just can't get over it. Let me go to
Yeah,
the
that's Zelda's the first one. Angela's is the second one.
uh,
I don't know if she is in this video. I know she was in the like 2 minute trailer they showed, and then there was also this video is actually from they did a separate like Silent Hill show where they played this long gameplay sequence from it.
mm,
But there was also a shorter trailer that was like 2 minutes at the Sony show that shows Angela specifically. She barely looks different from the original game. It's just better graphics. I don't know what it is. I think a lot of people just they they have a hard time with the fact that these characters you make the graphics better by 20 years and it's going to look a little different, right? You can see the flaws in people's skin in a way that you couldn't on the PlayStation 2. It's just
and this is her, right?
that's Angela, yeah.
Okay.
One of the I think best written characters in the game for sure. And this is a game that to me is like story above everything. If they can have fun gameplay too, then great. The original had serviceable gameplay, but you were there for the story. And so for this, it's going to be the same thing. If they kind of raise the gameplay to match the story, great. But yeah, looking at her character, she barely looks that different to me. It's just a matter of it's higher fidelity, so you can see the flaws in people's skin. They look more like people now. That's all it is.
And this game launches October 8th on
Yeah,
PS5.
my
Um,
second most anticipated for this year.
Perfect for the time of the year, horror month there, October. Also another horror game, Alien Rogue Incursion there,
It's
which
another VR one.
yeah, it's another VR game. Um, hmm, I'll take a look at it. Let's see, Alien. I just got that Alien game on the Switch, the one that was the older game, Alien Isolation. I just got that one.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah. That's pretty good. I still need to fully play through it. I tried it with the Switch, the Joy-Con controllers, and it just didn't feel great. And so I need to go back and do it with the Pro controller. I think that'll feel better. But it's got a little bit the Alien Isolation has that kind of outlasty hide from the creature sort of vibe, but it almost makes a better Alien 3 than actual Alien 3. This VR game, we'll see. It's the kind of thing where I could see it being a lot of fun, but just based on where VR is at technologically still, I can't help but expect it to be gimmicky.
Yeah. Well, some people get really scared at these VR stuff, the horror stuff there. People do get really
Yeah,
get
it does that thing where it tricks your brain into like having like a false sense of depth perception because there's a separate screen for each eye. So that it does make it kind of feel like things really are coming at you.
We have Marvel Rivals, which we talked about a little bit before. It
Yeah.
has unveils its closed beta test on PS5 in July. I know some people who had early access to it. People who did that played it, talked about it. Have you heard anybody talk about it? People who did have the early
I've heard
access
a
to
couple
it?
people talk about it. There was a weird thing with this game where for people that were getting like review codes, or not review codes because it's a beta, but like that kind of like access to have impression videos and to talk about the game. There were some weird requirements on the thing that they had people sign that was like you can't say bad things about it or like it was like a weird NDA where it was trying to make it so that signing it meant you couldn't really criticize the game. It's kind of a weird little scandal that popped up for a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. This is one it's a hero shooter. It's just got a Marvel skin on it, so it's maybe visually, aesthetically, it's more pleasing to me than say Concord that we just talked about. But to me, it's ultimately kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it's just with the Marvel heroes, they get to use their powers. Uh,
Yeah, it's this is another 5 versus 5 online multiplayer game that'll, if it's free to play, it'll have 1 million transactions. If you have to buy it, it'll have almost as many microtransactions anyway.
don't you want to play as your
Kind of.
favorite characters? Don't you want to play as Storm or Spider Man? Or
I mean, we got those Spider-Man games, and I'll boot up X-Men Legends from 20 years ago if I really want to play a Storm.
yeah,
They're putting out Marvel versus Capcom too. You can play a Storm in that.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. If you're interested in this type of game, I don't know. I mean, again, that's the new thing. Then they're trying to do these 5v5 shooters. Valorant is making a lot of money. Overwatch, Apex Legends. Yeah, that's what's kind of ruined the game. That's what ruined Suicide Squad. Was they were trying to make it into that. Um, you got Dynasty Warriors Origins. You got that. That was also announced a state of play. Uh, Ballad of Antaria.
That one looked like it could have some interesting potential, some Eastern fantasy sort of stuff. Third-person action game. Um, that's like that's one I'll put a pin in and say very much I'd like to see more, but it sparked my interest at least. I think especially with Black Myth Wukong coming out soon, you're kind of starting to see a wave of Eastern fantasy games
So what
from.
culture is this?
I'm not entirely sure specifically, but it's definitely got a lot of Eastern. Some it's this Eastern aesthetic for sure. I don't know exactly where it's pulling from. I wouldn't want to assume just based on those couple of images, but
Uh,
it's got an interesting style that it's refreshing to see so much fantasy come from the other side of the world.
um, yeah, Tipwork Studios. From Info Games announced Ballad of Antaria, free to play fantasy action RPG, which is coming to PlayStation 5 in 2025.
Oh, free to
Uh,
play. Damn it! All right, maybe not.
yeah. Is it kind of trying? You think it's trying to be like another Souls type game there a little bit?
There's a lot of these Eastern fantasy games that we're seeing are definitely trying to emulate certain elements of Souls. Like Black Myth Wukong. I think that's standing apart so much because it's not trying to do that exactly. It's kind of trying to be its own style of game. But certainly, I mean, it's hard to say that like following a blueprint of something that's very successful and popular is not the worst idea if you're going to borrow from something great.
Mhm. You have Infinity Nikki. Nikki there. It's
I don't
a
know if I remember that.
Infinity Nikki is an open world dress up adventure game coming to PS5. with a beta test due later this year, alongside Nikki awakening the magical powers hidden within various outfits and embark on a journey filled with fun. All
Yeah,
right.
sounds like a little bit more maybe one of those cozy games. It's not quite my speed.
The power of slaying, I guess, is what you discover in this game here. Um, yeah,
I
different out.
guarantee there's an audience out there for it. It just isn't me.
Yeah, will it be mostly male or mostly female? You
I imagine there's a mix of both.
think? Okay. Yeah. All right. It's cute.
Kids, kids for
Yes.
sure.
You fight boss villains in your very nice outfit, so you look
Oh,
cute
surprised there's combat.
and fight some good villains too. There. All right, if that's what you're into. Yeah. You also have Where Winds Meet. Um, there.
This one I think looks pretty interesting. They showed this off, I think, at Summer Games Fest last year, but it was a very guided demo. It felt more like a proof of concept trailer. This feels more like a real trailer to me. And this is another, I believe this is a Chinese fantasy game.
Yeah. Open world action RPG set in ancient China is bringing its martial arts mysteries to PS5. Uh, there. Let's take a look at some of it right here. This is more of a cinematic announcement trailer here. And you get to see some gameplay. Hmm. Okay. What
Definitely
vibes?
going for some Souls elements, I think you can tell for sure.
Yeah, something like Sekiro, something like that.
It definitely seems a little Sekiro inspired, which, hey, that's my favorite out of all those From Software games. So I am more than happy with that.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it looks good. It's got some good boss battles in this. Action
It's
looks
all
really.
going to be how does it feel when you actually have it in your hands? Because there's definitely a lot of games that kind of try to borrow from some of those gameplay systems, but don't have the precision to pull it off as well. So visually, I think this looks great. I love the art, the different environments we're seeing here.
Like the
But
different
yeah,
bosses that you
it's
kind of face, different
yeah,
environments.
really cool looking boss designs and like the attacks, those area of effect attacks that you're seeing. Really great stuff. Just gotta get a feeling for the way it actually plays in your hands.
Yeah, very House of the Flying Daggers there, right there. This kind of scene there.
Oh yeah, that shot reminded me of House of Flying Daggers for sure.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, they have. I don't see a. Let's see if there's a release date here for this. Hmm.
I think it's just a
In
yeah, just
development.
in development.
Mm, just in development. Okay, there's no release date yet for it. All right. Yeah. So, out of all the announcements, which ones excite you most? Silent Hill 2 and what? Where Winds Meet.
Silent Hill 2, Where Winds Meet, I'd say probably those two. I think, and again, I definitely want to make sure I point out too, it's not a Sony showcase, it's a Sony state of play. Then they label them that way because there is an implication of a showcase, you're getting something huge. State of play, you might get something, but it's going to be a lot of smaller titles. So as far as setting expectations, uh, I think it does what it is trying to do fairly well, but not a lot of stuff for me. But not also not nothing either.
Doozle said Shadow of the Itri so big. I think I'm set for the year.
It's a lot. That's going to take quite a lot of time for most people to get there, I think.
Yeah. Next up, Summer Game Fest. We got here some of these games we already talked about. We had a Lego game, Horizon. We already talked about that already. We have Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. Um, Harry Potter fan like Quidditch.
Harry Potter, the whole franchise, just kind of gets a big out of me. Uh, yeah, but
uh,
I don't hate it. I've never had like ill will towards it or anything. But it's just my never really been my franchise.
yeah, Quidditch. Quidditch. I mean,
Ooh, those faces don't look good.
uh, I know. have you ever been interested to play that Harry Potter game that's out, Hogwarts Legacy?
I feel like I've seen a lot of it because I have friends that play it. But so I'm like I might play it at some point, but it's going to be one of those where it's like, do I just like have a bunch of time off and I finished all the games I like really want to get to? Let me go. Maybe let me pop that in and check it out. But it's just not like on a list of priorities for me at all.
Yeah. So this is a game that's like you're just primarily just playing Quidditch. I don't know if you can play Hogwarts Legacy. I mean, you can't play Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy now. I know some people are
You
complaining
you,
about that.
you definitely can't. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because some people were complaining that you couldn't do that. So this is just like a game that's wholly dedicated to that, and this is coming out September 3rd, and also
At least it's
PlayStation
not like
4. They're still making games for
oh,
PlayStation 4. No.
I mean, based on the way it looked, I'm not too surprised it can run on the PS4. But at least it's not like EA's Quidditch or something like that, because you just be getting the same one every year.
Yeah. Harry Potter fans looking for something to tie them over after the release of Hogwarts Legacy last year can finally look forward to Harry Potter Quidditch Champions when it launches for PC via the Epic Games Store and Steam, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox on September 3rd. Um, yeah, I mean, if you just want a whole game dedicated to playing Quidditch, I guess, hey, go at it. I guess I don't think there's a lot of room for that, even people who are big Harry Potter fans, because it's like, I already got Harry
Yeah, it
Potter.
seems small scale.
Yeah. How much enjoyment could you just get out of? Okay, you're flying around and you throw the ball through the hoop. I mean, how much enjoyment? Get out of that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's more complicated rules that I'm just not familiar with, but
Yeah. You have No More Room in Hell 2. There you have that. No More Room in Hell 2 is bringing first person shooter zombie gameplay to early access this Halloween. Gameplay for the gory action title revealed brutal combat and gruesome enemies that will stop at nothing to take you down. The trailer was also highlighted dismemberment mechanics and a handful of weapons. Also teased 8-player co-op in a world with plenty of replayability there. Do you think I feel like there was a hype on zombie shooter games for a minute, and then it kind of cooled down. Like zombies and vampires were big. Like everybody wanted to play a zombie or vampire shooter there.
I mean, I think zombies is one of those things that has just been so prevalent in pop culture for so long. I mean, even go back to like 80s movies. And it kind of in for video games, it kind of peaked with the Left 4 Dead. As far as like a multiplayer zombie game goes, it peaked with the Left 4 Dead 2. And even like I don't know, even like the same people behind Left 4 Dead coming back to do, was it Back for Blood a couple of years ago? And even those creators couldn't really drum up like a really like healthy, long-lasting multiplayer game. So I have a hard time seeing this do super well. I just don't know if that desire is really there for like a big multiplayer zombie game anymore. I mean, if somebody came out and they did something super unique and original with it, I think I think that'll be. I think zombies could always be successful if somebody's got something really different to do with it. But unless you've got something special up your sleeve, I, I just have a hard time seeing it get that much attention.
Yeah. Do they still do the zombies on Call of Duty? You know.
I think so. I've really never played a Call of Duty game, just at all.
Yeah. It was fun playing the zombies in Call of Duty if you had that. And it was kind of fun there. But yeah, No More Room in Hell 2 there. I don't see a release date for this one.
I
Unless
think it
they do.
said early access in the fall.
Yeah, early access in the fall there. So you kind of have that. Star Wars Outlaws. Teaser trailer for that there. Ubisoft first crack at the open world Star Wars game, Star Wars Outlaws, wrapped into warped into Summer Game Fest in 2024 to show players a new swashbuckling gameplay trailer. Quick cuts of the scoundrel-centered sci-fi game showed off locations, both old and new, to protagonist Kay. This made her way through the Empire. We'll learn more at the upcoming Ubisoft Forward. But until then, Star Wars Outlaws is expected to launch August 30th. Is when
They
it's.
did show like a big stretch of gameplay at that Ubisoft show, which was just like a couple days later.
Yeah. Looks a little bit better than when I first saw it. It looks a little bit more polished there. Oh, hey, Lando. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna check out Lando's there. But
Young Lando,
yeah,
or was that
Jabba.
young Lando or older Lando?
It's a young Lando. Yeah, young
Okay.
Lando. That you have there. Let me go back. It was a quick shot there. You saw him at the table there. Uh, dealing there
Doing some old gambling.
and doing some old gambling there. There you go. Right there. With I forgot the name of that creature on the right and the alien on the left. I forgot the name of those. I used to know. But yeah.
The head tentacles.
Yeah.
That's a Twi'lek. I do not know the name of the other one though.
Yeah, that's the one that's that was the pilot, the rebel
Yeah,
pilot
he's like
there.
the co-pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the one there. I think that's a female version of him, man. But you yeah, see Lando there. Hmm. So your kind of faith is not a lot of hope there because it's Ubisoft?
Yeah, Ubisoft I struggle with because I think they just make so much of what they make is kind of just the same open world game. Um, really big maps, lots of kind of bloated side quests that where a lot of them feel kind of the same. But you know, I reserve judgment until it fully releases. I'm always happy to be proven wrong, or for a for if Ubisoft can be the underdog and do something just surprise me, great, that's awesome. But I don't know. I have a hard time expecting it. I do think that the idea of being like a smuggler and someone who's like trading and stuff, that's cool. I like that it's not a Jedi. I think sometimes it could just be like it's Jedi all the time. We're always playing as a Jedi. It's cool that it's something different. Um, but yeah, I think the number one thing is I can't help but expect it to be way too big and bloated with just repetitive side quests.
Yeah. And we saw Jabba the Hutt in the teaser there, and I know that's locked behind paywall there for the Jabba the Hutt
Oh,
mission.
is it?
Yeah, I think
Well,
they
there
said
you
that was
go.
yeah. I wonder if probably the Lando thing is too. Probably do Lando there.
Weird to put it in the trailer if it's gonna be like put it in a separate trailer that like specifically shows you stuff that's locked behind a paywall instead of
Yeah.
putting it in like the main trailer for your game. That's kind of shady.
But yeah, people let me know. I think it is behind the whole Jabba the Hutt thing. Yeah, behind the paywall. So yeah. When also people complain about the way she looks as well.
Of
The
course they are. So six female characters that I count then from all these shows, from all of these different shows. Um, it's fine. I mean, I think the only criticism that I would make of the appearance of the character is she's got a little bit of just Ubisoft face, which is just like every game, whether it's a male or a female character. Ubisoft's character models always just look a little behind the times, and part of it is because it's such a big open world that they have to sacrifice graphical fidelity just to increase the size of the game. So, maybe that's a criticism, but other than that, I mean, she looks fine.
so August 30th. We'll see. That's relatively not too long away. Civilization. You care about Civilization?
It's not for me. I One of my co-hosts is like he loves games with spreadsheets. Like he's not going to play unless there's a spreadsheet in it. So I know at least one person who's going to be into this, but yeah, it's definitely not my kind of thing.
Big one that a lot of people are excited for. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. That's a real big one there. A lot of people looking forward to this one. Yeah, a lot of people are hyped about this.
I'm one of them. Even not being like a big Dragon Ball fan, that like at least of the actual anime. I've enjoyed many of the video games. This is a sequel to the Budokai Tenkaichi games that were on like the PS2 and the Wii. The last one was came out in 2007, I think. So, I had a lot of fun with those games back in the day. So I'm pretty interested in picking this up.
And people say like well, people have a little bit of early access to the game. They can go around all these different environments. You're not just maintaining like if you're fighting in the tournament, like in the arena, you can go outside of the arena, fly out there. If you do a spirit
That's
bomb, it
cool.
can destroy the whole arena. Yeah, so you
That's
have a
awesome. Yeah, having those environmental destructions and ways to move around. Yeah, yeah, it's great. They come a long way in terms of like 3D graphics, kind of mimicking what the 2D art style looks like. I think that over the years they've gotten that down a lot better. So compare this to like some of the games that came out on the PS2, where you know you can recognize the character, right? But they also are very blocky, and it definitely doesn't look like the way the anime does. They've gotten really good at kind of replicating that style.
October 11th, Sparking Zero comes out there. Okay, yeah. Yeah, people. I think probably the most hyped about that is yeah, Sparking Zero. You also have Radical says Budokai Tenkaichi in Japan was called Sparking.
That's true. Yeah, it's so the all three of those games were like sparking back then, and then Budokai Tenkaichi was like the American localization name, or just maybe the European one as well. But so I guess they're just using the actual Japanese title finally for the series this time.
Batman Arkham Shadow. You got this is a VR game.
The VR game.
Yeah, VR
It's just
game.
funny that they would, both at the Sony State of Play and Summer Games Fest, they would show so many VR games, and then within that same month, they would announce that they're like shutting down production of VR units. It's like you guys just announced all these games, and now you're shutting the production of the whole thing down because you're not selling these. It's like clearly don't have confidence in this.
Would you want to see another kind of Batman Arkham game in the series? We left off with what was it? Arkham Origins.
uh, Arkham Origins was like the spin-off by Warner Bros. Montreal in between games, and then Arkham Knight was the last like
Oh, that was the last
proper
one.
like
Okay.
Rocksteady developed one. Like I love those games. They're some of my favorites of all time. But I don't think Rocksteady is the studio that they once were. Their founders are not there anymore. A lot of staff have moved on over the years. Arkham Knight was 2014 that game came out, and it took them 10 years to put out that Suicide Squad game. I just don't have a lot of confidence that if they did another Batman Arkham game, that it would be very good.
Mm, yeah. And I mean, they can find out some also. I was gonna think about. I was gonna say the voice, Kevin Conroy. He's not gonna come back and do the voice anymore since he passed on.
Yeah.
But they, I mean, there's been some other good Batman voices. Bruce Greenwood is a great Batman voice. He does it sometimes in the cartoons. I think he's really great.
Well, and then Batman Arkham Origins, that which is even though I feel like it gets ignored a little bit when in talking about that like set of games, that did have a different actor. Like there was the Christmas time kind of year one prequel story,
Yeah.
and neither Mark Hamill or Kevin Conroy were in that game. You had Roger Craig Smith as Batman, who most people probably would know as the voice of Ezio in the early Assassin's Creed games, and I think Troy Baker was the Joker.
Radical. So it can't be worse than Batman Origins, Blackgate.
Yes, that was the PlayStation Vita spin-off, I think, that came out at the same time.
Um, you also have Blumhouse. So Blumhouse, people know them for doing the horror movies there. They did things like Five Nights at Freddy's. They did Megan. They're mostly known as a movie studio there. They're venturing into games now. They announced a bunch of games that they're going to be working on there. So that could be interesting. See how that kind of works out there. They announced things like Eyes Out, Half Mermaid, Cozy Game Pals, Perfect Garbage. Yeah. So it says
It's a
Blumhouse.
big hodgepodge, kind of like it was like just a ton of stuff shown in one trailer, cut in between games. So I didn't get like a great feel for any one thing in particular, but certainly, it's just promoting more indie games, more access to or for indie developers and stuff. So I feel like it can only be a good thing.
Yeah. So we'll see what it kind of has to offer there from it. Um, so it's kind of a like I said, just kind of a quick mashup of all kind of the stuff they kind of announced there. Chrysler Theater of Idols there. Kind of a what Bioshock type look to this.
It definitely has a BioShock aesthetic going on.
Mm, okay. Crave seasons.
And I like that they're all different styles too. They're not focusing on any one thing in particular. They're just grabbing just a whole bunch of different horror stuff.
Nice.
Just yeah, give a chance to some indie developers that maybe they wouldn't get funding otherwise.
Mm, yeah, that'd be interesting there. Oh, this looks interesting. Yeah. Okay. This looks like really something
Give
like
that
the
kind of
first Resident Evil
retro
game.
PS1 aesthetic.
Yeah.
Totally, totally.
Okay. Very nice. Okay, so that could be something interesting there. Um, then we also have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Rita's Rewind. Is an old school style beat 'em up there. Yeah.
I think
I know.
it's
I hear.
being. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say. I hear that the fighting game of Power Rangers is pretty good. I know a lot of people have fun with that one.
I can't say I have any experience with it.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of people have a good time with it. Very chaotic there. But yeah, what do you think?
Well, Power Rangers is one of those franchises that I never got into as a kid. So I've never really understood it or the appeal for it. But hey, Power Rangers fans, there you go. There's an action game for you. The only thing I really know about this is I think it's being done by one of the teams that worked on the TMNT Shredder's Revenge game. And that I thought was like a really great game of this style. So if that's true, if any of those same people are working on this, then if you are a Power Rangers fan, you have some, at least mechanically, that should be pretty sound.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're a big Power Rangers fan, this is probably for you. If you can have that same kind of beat 'em up fun, as you mentioned, something like TMNT, Shredder's Revenge, you can have that. Um, I like the cutscenes they kind of do here. That's kind of nice. I like the animation there. That's like kind of fun.
The kind of
Um,
pixel art aesthetic.
no release date for this yet. Yeah, but yeah, if you like that. Uh, you have Mecha Break there. Sets a beta test date for this August. You has First Descendant as well there, which gets a July release date. Um, you have Alan Wake 2, the Night Springs DLC, which you're planning on reviewing on the series on the show here.
Yeah, I've already played through the entire thing like 3, 4 times. So yeah. It's not super long. Basically, this is one of two expansions that we're expecting for this game. It is it's 3 episodes of a kind of Twilight Zone-esque like fictional TV show that exists within the world of Alan Wake called Night Springs. And they're all broken up into little kind of fun one-off side stories. Um, all like quirky little things, if you're familiar with Twin Peaks or Twilight Zone itself, it'll feel very at home with that kind of style and aesthetics.
Mm, okay. Yeah, plan on reviewing that pretty soon there. Radical said, must share a lot of artists. The game looks really similar in terms of art style.
Oh yeah, yeah, for the Power Rangers game compared to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. I'm sure they do.
Let's see what else we got here. Skate, we got that.
This was a weird one because you know buying like ad time in like a show like Summer Games Fest is like a decent amount of money. And like almost all of the trail, like I've never really played skate much. I was always more of a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater as far as like skateboarding games. But it was very weird to me that most of what they showed here was like a live action skit of someone on the phone, and then they went and had like a just a snippet of gameplay after that. I don't know. It's just an odd marketing choice.
Damn. I mean, that was part of the fun of playing like some of Tony Hawk, seeing the crash out, seeing people, like you fuck up and then you
Oh
land.
yeah, get
Um,
like blood spurts and everything.
yeah, much safer than actually going out there and doing it. It's like I'll just do it from the safety of my own couch there. Valorant coming to consoles there. You see that it's bringing the competitive fantasy of Valorant to PS5 and Xbox Series if you're into that. They also showed Among Us, the animated series. They showed a clip of that there. They also showed a Dune Awakening. They showed the trailer for that, the video game for that. Dune Awakening. That's a story cinematic trailer. Um, Maybe you could do some cool stuff with Dune as a video game. Given the right people kind of attached to it there.
There
Um,
were quite a few Dune games back in like the 90s. But they were all like strategy games. Um, very technical like PC strategy games. And I think that's what fits Dune. I think that's what makes sense for Dune as a property. Um, in fact, I made a like a third person shooter stealth game on the PlayStation 2 of Dune in 2001, and it was so bad that it basically until now killed the idea of Dune being adapted as a video game. So it took a while for it to rebound from that. But I don't know. This game all looks really like visually pleasing every time we see footage for it, but I come back to it's a survival game. So like it's really about just kind of managing resources and surviving around an environment. I don't think it's going to have that much of a narrative. I could be wrong. Maybe they've got more in store than I'm expecting, but it seems like it's being pitched as a survival game where it's really going to be about managing your resources and just kind of building things and just kind of that kind of an endless gameplay loop. Which there's a lot of people that love that kind of thing, but again, just not totally my thing.
yeah, so Funcom's open world survival MMO take on Dune. Dune Awakening appeared during Summer Game Fest to show players a closer look at its take on the rule of Paul Atreides. The cinematic trailer gets fans up to speed about letting what's this? What's the villain's name?
In
Uh,
the in the book or in the movie,
yeah. Uh,
Baron Harkonnen.
Oh yeah, Arconan's there. Fearsome ruler. Monologue about the past, his future, and what could have been done. Yeah, it says
Yeah,
Dune
I
Awakening.
believe it's like a universe or a version of things where instead of having Paul, his mother had the daughter she was supposed to have.
Okay. It says Dune Awakening will reappear at Gamescom this August and expected to eventually launch a PC via Steam, PS5, and Xbox Series X. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Slitterhead. You have trailer for that. It's from the Silent Hill.
Slitherhead's Yeah, it's one that I want to like. I want to like it based on what I read about it. I don't know. It's not totally pulling me in though when I actually see the footage. It looks a little rough, and maybe it's just early enough in development. We'll see how it plays out. I'd love to, get another great game from this creator. Is the director on the very first Silent Hill game.
What
I
else has
think he
he
was
done?
only in.
He's only
I
done
don't.
some.
Yeah, I don't know, and he wasn't involved with any of the Silent Hill sequels either. I mean, he was only on the very first one, so I don't know what he's been doing in between. But some of the gameplay here, I don't know. It looks a little rough. I'm not totally sold on it. I certainly will. It's going to be one of those I keep an eye on, and then we'll see how it tracks across its development. But monster designs, I think, cool.
That looks
The
gross as
aesthetic
hell. I mean, that
overall.
looks pretty
Yeah,
fucking
yeah. It's really when it gets to the combat part that I just am like, I don't know.
gross.
I don't know. The way this looks like it plays just doesn't seem like it would be that interesting. But I've made that. I've said that before. Got my hands on the game, and it ended up being a lot more intuitive than I expected. So who knows? That could be the case here.
What the hell is happening in this game? Let's see. From the Silent Hill creator, revealed a trailer for the Twisted Creation that Slitterhead at this year's Summer Game Fest presentation. The more action-focused title from developer Boki Game Studio keeps the nightmare creatures from Silent Hill series while giving players a few more tools to progress. Specifically, it looks like you'll be able to switch between humans and even some animals to get around when launch arrives November 8th, 2024. Okay.
That's coming out that soon. All right. Well, that's probably what the final version is going to look like more so then.
Delta Force Hawk. There. Killer Bean. That meme you've always seen there. Can't remember
Yeah,
what
I don't get this one at all.
tongue-in-cheek action game. Killer Bean is bringing its over-the-top sandbox gameplay to players in summer 2024. There. Wander Stop. A cozy game with a dark secret there. New World. You also have Pal World. It's getting a new island and more pals there. If you're
I think I read something today about it coming to the PlayStation as well, which was a separate announcement from this show. But
yeah. We already talked about Monster Hunters already. Konitsu Gami Path of Goddess there.
this is a game that I think visually looks really interesting, but I'm kind of skeptical on the gameplay. It's a Capcom title and really breathtaking, like Japanese mythology, really cool art style. But a it seems like the gameplay is like a tower defense where you're like it's like you spend like a day cycle setting things up for like a combat sequence that will happen once it turns to nighttime. Um, if the moment to moment combat is satisfying, I could see this being really cool. But the part where it's like you spend all the a good chunk of your time just kind of setting things up for a tower defense, that kind of throws me off a little bit. But
Mm. So let's see here. How do they describe this game? It is coming this year. It is coming in 2024. Capcom kept up its strong night at Summer Game Fest by announcing a PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and slash S release date for July 19th. So it's coming really soon here. For its upcoming action game, an overview trailer accompanied the scheduled update, promising that the project will also launch on Xbox Game Pass for subscribers on day one
hmm.
as well. Huh. Okay. Yeah, it's an action strategy game. So that's how it's described there. Phantom Blade Zero. Um, yeah. What are your thoughts about
Yeah,
this?
this was one of the. I thought this was maybe the standout for Summer Games Fest. Kind of similar to the Sony show. I felt like the Summer Games Fest was on the weak side this year. Again, it's another thing where Jeff Keighley did come out a couple days ahead of time and basically was like, "Hey, folks, don't get your hopes up." I was like, "Oh, okay, so it's probably not going to be that impressive." But I think this was, I think, one of the most interesting things they showed. Japanese mythology. This, maybe at a glance looks more like a Souls-like, but people
Does
that
it
got
look
their
too
hands on it.
similar to something like Where Winds Meet, like we just
I
saw?
don't think so. I think you can tell in the environments and the structures. I think you can tell that Where Winds Meet is Chinese and that this is Japanese. Where
Okay.
Winds Meet also feels more like a high fantasy. This feels more like grungy dark fantasy. But also the people that actually got to play this game said that this feels more like something like a more combo based Devil May Cry action game than a
Mm.
Souls like game
Well, that's
despite the
good.
way it might look visually.
Okay. Yeah. I do love Devil May
Honestly,
Cry.
closer to Bloodborne, probably, out of all those other games than anything else.
Mm. How you like the combat? The combat looks pretty fluid to you. Looks pretty good.
I think so. It's super fast, snappy. At least from what I can tell, I like how just super quick it is. I think we need more of those like really heavily stylized action games. We've spent what 2019 we got Devil May Cry 5. We
Mm.
got third Bayonetta in 2023 or 2022. I struggle to think of anything else really in that style of games other than those two in recent
Stellar Blade.
memory.
You
So,
gonna play some Stellar Blade?
oh yeah, that's true. Now there's no camel toe in it. No, I can't play it.
Summer Game Fest came to an end with a brand new trailer for developer S Games. Phantom Blade Zero, video game. The video comes in just less than 2 minutes long, delivering a good look at some of the project's action and the weapons players can use in their fight against its nightmarish enemies. We still have to wait for a release date. Phantom Blade Zero will soon reach players' hands thanks to a demo world tour. The demo will make its rounds starting with Summer Game Fest this weekend. then coming to China Joy in July, Gamescom in August, and Tokyo Games Show in September. So you do have that. So hey, if you can go to those shows and played it, yeah.
That's another one where they showed a trailer for this last year, and it felt very much like a proof of concept that was not actual gameplay footage. This time it was like, all right, here they're actually going to show us what does the game really look like.
Mm. We got Developer Direct here. Some of the games here. Let me know if you're interested in talking about anything. It's a pretty small list. You have Cult of the Lamb, Unholy Alliance.
So
There.
I played that. That's an update coming for the game,
Okay.
rather than like a full sequel or full title to itself. It's fun. I had someone else to play it with though, who is into the kind of management elements of it because it is literally you're like running a little cult, like a little demonic cult. So you have a roguelite action game where you go out and you fight and you gather resources, and then there's a whole half of the game that is coming back and managing your cult, building stuff. It's like this is a game where half of it was super for me, and the other half was like extremely not for me. But if you have someone to play it with, you can kind of divide those elements of it up. Um, I like the like I like the it's cute, but it's also like horror and super violent aesthetic. So
Mhm. So
Devolver
you.
Digital has just
Yeah.
made a lot of great games over the years. So I'm always kind of willing to give them give whatever they put out a shot.
Hmm, okay. I do like that kind of aesthetic. Very cute and very, yeah, devilish kind of thing to it. That's pretty nice.
And it's hyper violent too.
You also have, let's see here, the Talos Principle 2, Road to Elysium.
Oh
Um,
yeah, so that's a big DLC for the second Talos Principle game. I've yet to play either of these. I've got the first one in my backlog. I want to get to it, but they are pretty intense puzzle games from my understanding. Lots of like philosophy about like kind of robotic intelligence and what it means to be human. I've heard people say that these are some of like the best puzzle games since Portal came out. I can't say that totally definitively myself. I haven't played them yet, but it's got a great aesthetic, really visually kind of wild looking at times. Yeah, something I'm really determined to get to one of these days.
you also have Angerfoot. Um,
This looks hilarious. It's like Hotline Miami meets Doom, but just all with your feet.
hmm, let's take a look at the trailer here a little bit. Let's take a look. Oh, here we go. Let me play some sound here with it. Oh shoot. So he says like Hotline Miami a little bit there.
Yeah, incredibly fast-paced gameplay, short levels, like based, die in one hit, but it's this like just absolute hyper violent. Let's memorize the level, figure out the best way to get through it, kill with style kind of thing, right? Like it's all about getting like high scores, and it's goofy and over the top and just crazy looking. It's 100% game made for me.
And I guess each shoe attributes a different like ability. Oh, okay.
Yep, totally. It's like and that one in particular is hilarious to me. The uppercut shoes. It's just so goof. I think this is going to be a game to get a lot of laughs out of,
Okay. Yeah. Those look like a lot of fun. Those look like to be a lot of fun here.
and some super simple, probably not very long either.
Yeah, July 11th.
Yeah, that'll be the PC release date. I don't know. I don't think there's a console date at all yet. I do believe it is announced as coming to consoles eventually, though.
Okay. You also have the Crush House. Uh, and then with Angerfoot, it says Free Lives, developers of Broforce, Gorn, and Terra Nil were also at the developer direct with their upcoming game, Angerfoot. We actually went hands on with Angerfoot not long ago, and we really enjoyed its compelling take on the stylings of Hotline Miami, but with a lot more kicking. It's a first person shooter, question mark, they put, more like a kicker. You kick your way through a place literally called Shit City, bringing down the enemies with playing levels with different types of kickers, and upgrading your weapons and sneakers as you go. Angerfoot is coming soon. Yeah, it's at PC. You have
Yeah, that is the developer that did Broforce, so you know they've got a sense of humor.
you also have. Let me see here. The Crush House. Person says, I've been obsessed with the Crush House since it was first revealed earlier this year. It's a novel premise for a game. You're a producer on the titular reality TV show set of Malibu Mansion. Every week, you select a four-person cast from a 12 total actors and let them loose in the Crush House, filming spicy moments over several days to satisfy your drama-loving audience. Something you're into? All right.
Not really based on that description, but if there's a twist and I get to put them all in like jigsaw traps by the end of the day, then we might be talking.
Is eating up. A new crop of sassy singles are mingling in the
You don't want to make your
iconic
own
mansion together.
real
But
world, your
can they
own
get along, or will the
Love Island?
I do if I get to kill them.
Jay,
They should add that in
what
there.
were
Maybe
you
that'll be a
doing all
DLC.
night? It
You
doesn't
get to do.
matter. Move.
Maybe there'll be a DLC there. But there's the Crush House. Possessors. There's this.
This looks really cool. This is from the studio that did Hyper Light Drifter and Solar Ash, which is actually a game me and one of my hosts are still currently doing a streaming series for. Beautiful art style. Heart Machine has consistently got amazing looking games. This is another one of those that just I think looks spectacular. Really detailed, kind of. You almost want to say retro aesthetic, but it doesn't even really have a pixel art thing. It just has this hand drawn feel to it. But yeah, I love what I'm seeing here.
very much anime look to it.
Yeah, very yeah, definitely a bit of an anime vibe.
Hmm. Yeah. Love the way it looks. I do love the way it looks. Possessors. It's a developer in Devolver's second game announcement of the evening. We took a look at Possessors. An art style look familiar. Yep, it's from the Hyper. It's from yep. This is from Hyper Light Drifter, a Solar Ash developer and Heart Machine. It's a side scroller action game with sci-fi horror elements where you play as Luca and her counterpart Rim. The two explore a city wrecked by interdimensional catastrophes. Possessor has an open-ended world structure with multiple possible paths available at any given time and focuses on tight combat, challenging bosses, and exploration. Possessor is coming to PC and console in 2025. Oh, okay.
Right up my alley.
Did you hear about Tenjitsu?
Yes, yes, I did see stuff. This is another one where kind of like Cult of the Lamb, where I think this is a game that's half for me. There's a great combat system here. I love the art style. I love the aesthetic of it. But then half of it is like a city builder kind of thing, which again, it's I think I have someone that I can go like, hey, I'll do this part, you do that part. Cool. Let's cut this in half. It's one of those games where if I was gonna play it by myself though, I might get a little stuck on the city management element of it because I just it's not something I'm into. But again, it's for people that are into that kind of thing. You've got this interesting. It's what I love about Devolver Digital. All the games they publish have these interesting mixtures of styles and aesthetics and different gameplay elements. So I think there's a lot here to be interested in.
Mm. How you like the art style when it goes into
I
that?
think the art style looks great. Yeah, the old school pixel art. You know, I like that kind of thing. It holds up. You know, even actual games from that time hold up much better than like early 3D stuff does.
It says the first of two brand new games announced by during the event. Tenjitsu comes from Dead Cells designer Sebastian Bernard. It's a rogue jujitsu game set in a crumbling city where you play as a renegade, yakuza, taking down former colleagues. Tenjitsu looks to be something like a combination of Dead Cells, Streets of Rage, and Sifu. Yeah, I do see Sifu also in there as well. It goes to take down four crime syndicates which you can tackle in any order as you slowly improve your skills at a complex brawler fighting system. You can use resources you collect to build up the city with shops and restaurants, but spending too much time preparing will result in stronger enemies. Oh, okay. The Digits is coming to PC and consoles, but no release date just yet. Okay.
Dead Cells was a phenomenal game. So this studio's got a good track record under its belt.
Yeah. Xbox Showcase. Into some of these games. Some of the stuff we already seen before. This is just a little bit more expansion on it. Let me know if you're interested in anything there. I'll go through kind of these ones here. The
All in
Dark.
all, I actually think Xbox maybe had the best show out of all of these.
That's what I did hear some people did saying that. Darkness Calls on August, which is with World of Warcraft: The War Within. You have that. Starfield Shattered Space reveal trailer. You have Sea of Thieves season 13 update. You have Fallout 76 Skyline Valley release date there.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Online invites you to discover Tamriel in a new trailer. Diablo, Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred releases October 8th. These are just updates on live game. Let's see. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers revealed a journey into the darkness of the late Ming Dynasty.
So this is one that I think looks pretty interesting. It's another Chinese mythology game. It's another where I don't know if this is proof of concept or gameplay, but I think it's another interesting looking third person action game aesthetic.
You. The first signs are really subtle.
What looks interesting to you about
Over
this one?
time,
I think the fact that it looks almost like we're doing
slowly
like a
consuming
full
every
on
little part of your
Eastern
humanity.
vampire thing. And maybe that's just a misunderstanding on what that creature is to me, but I really like if I'm interpreting that correctly as a vampire, I think that's a really interesting and different take on it. I like the way the movements, the gameplay looks. You got a lot of good looking particle effects. It's kind of like the Where Winds Meet. It's going to be a matter of how does it feel when you get your hands on it. But aesthetically, boss fights, different weapon variety that you're seeing here, enemy design. I think you got a solid looking action game.
Yeah, but you play as a woman, so that's kind of an L, right?
Yeah, it's 0 out of 10. Yeah, some of those big monsters. I mean, I'm a sucker for like horror fantasy, so you put something like that in front of me, I'm at least gonna perk up a little bit. But
yeah. Step into the dark and tumultuous land of Shu in Wu Kang Fallen Feathers. Souls-like action RPG launches day one on Xbox Series X/S and immerse players in a dark late Ming Dynasty, a period rife with warring factions and mysterious illness, turning humans into monstrous creatures. You are Wu Chang, a pirate warrior struck by amnesia and inflicted by ornithopy, a horrific disease, but the source of immense power. As you explore the depths of Shu, you'll enhance your arsenal, master new skills harvested from fallen foes, and evolve your fighting style by sacrificing red mercury. Okay. And there's no release date for this just yet. Doesn't look like.
I think this might have been either the announcement or maybe just the second time that we've seen it. So still early.
Still very early for this. You have Winter Burrow. Is a cozy survival experience inspired by a love of nature. Stalker 2, The Heart of Chernobyl.
I have never played the Stalker games, but these are very popular. It's got a little bit of a Russian, almost like a Russian Fallout feel to it a little bit. Now it's definitely different and more than that, but very much a post-apocalyptic Russian setting, survival horror kind of resource management type stuff. I can only say so much because I never did play the originals, but it is a franchise that's on my list that I really would like to get to. And I know that there's a lot of anticipation for this.
Hmm. We also have mixtape, nothing but the hits. That. We do get Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater. We see a little bit more of
Very
that.
excited for that one.
Official trailer for that. Um,
Isn't this Stalker 2 a remake or a remaster? I believe it's a whole new game. I believe it's like a brand new, like full blown sequel.
Yeah, it says the new trailer for Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is here packed with brand new reveals. This trailer showcases the array of experience awaiting players from location that encounters with mutants and hubs, places to have some well developed rest and prepare your body and gear for the next intense mission. It doesn't say if it's a remake or anything like that.
I'm
Here.
pretty sure it is like a full blown like new sequel.
Okay.
I think it might
Um,
just be a confusing title.
hmm. So yeah, Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater. We do have that. So this is the official trailer for. We just got like a teaser, a little bit of it before. Is that the one you're most excited for out of this showcase here?
There's a few things in the Xbox show that I'm pretty excited for, but maybe one that I'm more excited about than this just because it's a brand new game. But I think this looks really good. I think this is shaping up to be a really great remake. Um, and I hope so. I hope they don't fuck this one up. I've got a tattoo from this game on my shoulder here. All time one of my absolute favorites. I think everything about the way the aesthetic is presented here is great. This is what number 3 or 4 out of the ones we've talked about where people are having a meltdown about one of the female character designs, which
Uh,
again I don't even think looks different um, versus the original character. I really don't. It's just better graphics. I think
yeah,
the
the
character looks
boss.
the same. The
Yeah,
boss,
a lot of people saying they don't like the way she looks in this. Looks way different than the original.
which I just wholly disagree with. I don't think she looks different other than just better in
More
terms of
lines on the
fidelity.
face. More you can see. Yeah, it's more
She's
defined.
old now. That character that was always like a 45-year-old woman. Damn. But no,
uh,
I think it looks really cool. They also did a 10-minute kind of breakdown a couple days after this with David Hayter, the voice actor, talking about some of the stuff that they're doing with this game. And you've got a bunch of cool details. They're expanding on some of the survival mechanics where you have to like treat your own wounds. If you get wounded, get like bullet wounds or like big knife cuts on your body, they will heal and scar. And so every different playthrough of the game, you will have like a different arrangement of scars and wounds by the end of your playthrough that will be like unique to that playthrough. They also have camera and control options from the original game. So if you want to play it, you're nostalgic for the original and you don't want to play with a modern updated control scheme, you can change all of that to play the exact same way. They've gotten they're using all the old voice lines. They've gotten voice actors to come back and record new lines. So it's like it's the entire original cast. There's a lot of really great stuff. They're doing everything right as far as a remake goes, from what I can see.
and it's just still 2024. No exact release date of it. Just 2024.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if it got pushed back, but just at this point, I feel like it's getting late in the year for it to not have a release date. But if it still comes out this year, I'll be a little surprised, but happy. But I feel like take your time if you need to push it back early next year, maybe. Uh, Whatever you need for this to be as good as it can be.
We also have Mecha Break here. We got Life is Strange, which is more expansion on that. Frag Punk. We have this one here, another hero shooter, 5v5 there that you have. Souls Light, Flintlock there, the Siege of Dawn. You have that. The Dragon Age, Vilgard there. Um,
I'm skeptical on that one. Dragon Age is a very big franchise. I The trailer had a bit of a I don't know. It had a little bit of a let's freeze frame and give everybody a title card, and everybody's has quips, like a kind of MCU-ish a little bit. And I don't know. It just didn't
Felt
quite
like
have the
Dungeons and Dragons, like the new movie that came out a little bit or something. Or
maybe I actually never did see that movie,
oh, it's
but
very good.
Yeah, I could see similarities to that. I don't know. It's had such a different vibe from some of the other games, which felt like they were like fantasy, but like a little bit more. Not that they were humorless, but maybe not quite so tongue-in-cheek, quippy. It's a very Marvel sense of humor that I kind
Mm.
of felt coming from this.
You also have Expedition 33.
This is a new IP that I actually thought
Product not yet
looked
rated.
pretty interesting. Almost like this kind of looks like what I would imagine a Final Fantasy game to be if they were still doing like proper turn-based combat. Um, you get this idea here that there's like some sort of god that is like painting death into reality and like ending like civilizations of people. And it's like they say every year there's like an expedition of soldiers sent out to like slay this god and try and stop them from painting death onto the universe. Um, Interesting premise, and I just aesthetically I think this looks gorgeous, and it's cool just to see something big have like full turn-based combat because
Combat looks
it's not,
good.
yeah, it's not, turn-based isn't always my favorite, but I think it's this whole style of game that I think has been kind of abandoned by, especially by like the AAA gaming space. And just, it looks like it's trying to innovate in a style that's been given up on by a lot of
Yeah.
companies. And I think that's really cool.
An upcoming reactive turn-based RPG that would transport you to a beautiful, surrealist new world inspired by France Labelle's a period famous for its stunning and lavish contributions to the country's world-renowned culture of art. Okay. You also have Atomfall here. Assassin's Creed Shadow first gameplay. Did you take a look at this gameplay?
I did, and this is another one just like Star Wars Outlaws. They showed a longer thing at that Ubisoft show. This is I'm still like on the fence with it. I think that it looks graphically a lot better than Valhalla and Odyssey, some of the other recent Assassin's Creed games. It feels like some of the Assassin's Creed games have this like Assassin's Creed kind of sheen on them, where like even though they're these different time periods and civilizations, like you kind of take a look at it and you're like, oh yeah, that's Assassin's Creed. This
Mm.
I wasn't 100% sure that's what it was when the trailer first started, which I thought was a great sign. I'm like, oh, that means that it didn't instantly have the exact same recognizable elements as every other Assassin's Creed game. So that was a positive for me. As far as the gameplay goes, I think it looks. I like that we're splitting things into two characters. I think that the RPG mechanics got to be a little too much in some of the other games, so it's cooler to me that you got a character that is straightforward kind of action and one that is focused on stealth. Make it smaller upgrade cheese. Just make it a smaller game. And they have said that the map for this is going to be smaller than the last couple. This will be a little more comparable in size to the game that was set in Egypt, which was actually the last one that I liked anyway. So I don't know. It's very on the fence. I still worry about Ubisoft's open world design, but I like the aesthetic. I like the time period. I think the characters themselves look pretty cool. I like that they're finally changing some things up with the gameplay. And they did show a little bit more at the Ubisoft show. And probably the most interesting thing that could make this game unique, or, if it doesn't work, cause it to feel a little similar to the others. But there is this seasons mechanic here where the game will naturally go through the different seasons of the year. So, just as an example, there's a mission they showed where you are tracking someone and they're on a boat and you're swimming underwater. You've got a little device to sticking up out of the water to breathe with. So you're hiding underneath, eavesdropping on their conversation. But if you try that same mission when it's wintertime, that lake is frozen over. That entire avenue of accomplishing that mission is just completely cut off from you. So I like that idea that there are, like there's in the spring, there's a lot of grass, or spring, summer, there's a lot of grass to hide under in certain areas. During fall, winter, now stuff's gone. I like the idea that the map would change so much, but it's kind of the thing where let's see it fully in practice because I could see that coming across as a gimmick rather than a fully fleshed out mechanic. But it's at least something a little different. It feels like they're trying some different things with this game, which with Assassin's Creed it's just gotten so stale that to see them try to innovate even in small ways, at least has my hopes up a little bit.
Yeah. Does look good. Does look good. Still a work in progress. It says right there. Saw some
Yeah,
of
the
the combat.
facial models look a lot better than previous Ubisoft games.
Yeah. I mean, you see that. I mean, these two people, they're ass to ass. I don't. If you
All right, maybe not some of the background characters.
hold on. Let me see if I can get to it. He was kind of walking past here. Yeah. But you kind of saw that a little bit. I think it's right here. Yeah, right here. Boom, ass to ass, right there.
Yeah, what are they doing?
I kind of have that. But yeah, I mean, some of the gameplay looks good. I like there's different styles for the both of them. It's almost like he's got like Yasuke's almost got superpowers in this. You see him do a stomp like he's Dom and Fast and Furious, like he's got Hulk or something like that.
There are reports talking about him, like actual reports about him saying he had like the strength of like 10 men. So I'm sure they're using that to kind of exaggerate how powerful he is in the combat.
Yeah. So we'll see that. Is there a release date for this? Not yet, right? It's
Yeah, it's coming out. I think it's coming out in November.
November.
It's this year for sure.
Okay, November for Assassin's Creed Shadows. There, State of Decay 3.
This is one of those online kind of live service type things that I just it genuinely doesn't do anything for me. It's got a huge player base. It's got a huge fan base. But it's just, I think it's zombies, but I think that speaks to I'm not even 100% sure.
Yeah, it's a
Definitely
ambitious
not
open world zombie survival game.
Yeah.
South of Midnight. Yeah,
This was another big highlight for me. I think this looks awesome. It's got a very unique aesthetic. It's one we did see last year. It was for a very brief teaser, like southern swamp fantasy, I guess is how I would describe this. But I mean, she's literally riding a giant catfish demon thing, whatever it is. Um, these environments look really cool. During the cutscenes, you have a really you definitely have that kind of. They've pulled some frames out to give it that stop motion claymation
yeah.
feel, something like Into the Spider-Verse does. Um, third person action as far as like combat goes, big traversal. But I really love the like swamp fantasy aesthetic of this whole thing. Just the way it looks and the animation style is very unique. The music during like the combat music, actually, it's one
So
thing.
they play it right here.
Yeah, the music in the combat doesn't stand out, actually, is the interesting thing. And then when you get out of combat and it goes back to exploring, I think the music stands out as actually being really good. Yeah, this is I think a one to really watch out for.
I like the art style you did kind of there, almost kind of like a Telltale game, but more fluid. There.
Yeah, I mean I think it's honestly got a lot in common with some of like the Spider-Verse whole Spider-Verse aesthetic. And I like the writing and the dialogue so far too. I think is really good.
The beautiful third-person action adventure game from We Happy Few creators, Compulsion Games, showed off its first gameplay trailer during the show ahead of its launch in 2025. We met Hazel, and her newly revealed companion Catfish, as they travel through a flooded area inspired by the Mississippi Delta. quickly find themselves facing down one of the game's monster kings. Meet Two-Toed Tom, a gigantic albino alligator with a powerful hunger and even his own theme song. There, the trailer's
You
off.
should play just a tiny bit more of that video because you see that alligator and it is like the size of a couple of buildings.
Uh,
Yeah, that's like, I mean, it's like coming up like, I mean, it is an island crawling onto another island. It is so large. That's
Jeez.
almost a kaiju.
Huh. Oh, okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah, one of the most unique things they had at any of these shows.
Yeah, also look at combat and traversal, showing off Hazel's magical weaving powers and gives us a taste of the game's darkly gorgeous deep south setting. We are lucky enough to sit down with South America developers and dive even deeper into the game. I would love to know more about this game and the developers of this, the story, for sure. And this is probably 2025. It says, yeah, launch it. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think they had any sort of release window, so definitely next year at least for sure.
yeah, coming to yeah. I'm interested in this. Yeah, that's gonna be on my watch list. Sure. You also have Perfect Dark. This was another person people were complaining about the way the woman looks here. Perfect
Yeah,
Dark.
I think this is number 5. Yeah, again, I think she just looks more like a real person. You can compare her to that N64 character model. If
So this
that's
is a
what you
remake, right?
guys. Remake, reboot. I think it's just it's taking some of the elements and it's just kind of doing a whole new evolved thing with it. Uh, I think this looks great. I I was a big fan of the original. I think it's kind of part of that golden eye era of first person shooters. But this I love the aesthetic here. I think one of the cool things about this game is you see a lot of the combat sequence. I think it takes probably halfway into the trailer to really kick in, but you see at least a few really cool interactions with the environments, like pushing someone off a railing and having the whole railing of the building kind of crumble and fall off the building with them. Being able to shoot like a bag of flour in a market to create a big dust cloud to cover up the area. And a lot of times in games, those can feel very, it's like it's very obvious what you can and can't interact with. But here it seems pretty organic, where it's nothing to necessarily highlight that in the environment. But if you notice it's there, use the tools that you have at your disposal. Really, I don't know. I love this. I think this looks like a classic return to form. Certainly better than the 360 sequel that they tried to do back in the day, which was not particularly good. But yeah, and I think her character design looks great. I think it looks very similar to the original yet again.
Somebody said she had a man's jaw here. She's got a
I think
man.
that's what they have said. That's what they said about all 5 of these characters.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in the near future, Earth is struck by a series of global disasters, bringing ecosystems around the world to a verge of collapse. An all-new Perfect Dark game experiences the journey of Joanna Dark, Data Dane's elite agent, as she hunts down the world's most wanted criminal, Daniel Carringen, to uncover the mysteries beyond the technological breakthroughs that could threaten the lives of millions of people. Okay. Um, we have all new Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. We have
That's an
that.
ongoing kind of live service game where it's. I mean, it is truly a flight simulator. I mean, it is about flying planes around a realistic map of the world, and that's as far as I can tell. That's kind of it. Not my thing, but it's
Is
got
it one
that
of
passionate
those
fan base.
flight sim that's so good that you could actually like become a real pilot by playing like logging a lot of hours in the game?
I don't know if it's that detailed or thorough. I'm pretty sure you can play with just like a regular controller, and I feel like it can't be that complicated if that's the case. Maybe there's like a version where you can get like a special setup for it that's a little more realistic, but I don't think it's that intense.
Ulysses said she looks like Gillian Anderson. Yeah, she does look like Gillian Anderson. I can see that.
Totally has a Gillian Anderson vibe.
We have a new trailer for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. We have this.
I think this game looks great. I will say a lot of this trailer is like one. It's just one single cutscene, just like lifted out of the game. Like there's a bit at the beginning and end that are like shots from different parts, but a large portion of this like 5 minute trailer is just a single cutscene just plucked out of a random moment in the game. And that was a little bit of an odd way to advertise it. I feel like just showing maybe more like a gameplay segment might have been a better choice than like just a big segment of a cutscene. But I like the way this looks. I'm very excited for this. You got your mix of like first person, third person gameplay, the Nazi character models. It looks like they just straight up took them out of the Wolfenstein games that this studio made and put them right in here. Which hey, when smart reuse of assets, why not? But yeah, I think this looks awesome. And Harrison Ford is not, or well, Indiana Jones is not 80 years old in it, which is really nice to see.
You have Troy Baker who's doing Indiana Jones in
I think
this.
he does a pretty good impression. There's moments where I can tell that it's not Harrison Ford. I think like 90% of the time he sounds really dead on.
Let me see. Let me play. Let's see some of it.
This man.
Some of it.
Is that a
Battleship? Yep. Let's get a closer look.
Gotta find the stone and get off this ship.
What's
A
that
Nazi sickle
intent?
right here.
What does it say?
Earth something.
I mean, it's kind of close.
I actually think make that 7. I'm pretty sure people were complaining
that?
about her too.
Oh, people complain about her.
Yeah, she's a woman. Doesn't really matter.
She's supposed to be somebody from the movies or series of Indiana Jones.
I don't think so. I think she's supposed to just be an original character for this game.
She looks familiar. She looks.
Maybe it is a character that I just have forgotten about. It has been a long time since I watched the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah, I don't think she's not the person he ends up having a kid with. She's not. That's not her.
No, she's not Marion. Definitely.
Yeah, it's
Definitely
not
not.
her. But she looks familiar. Maybe it's just the actress who plays her looks familiar.
That could be. That could be.
Yeah, maybe it's just that. So listen, but there's no time travel or CGI aliens in this hashtag. Not my envy. E-Day marks a new dawn for Gears of War. Yeah, Gears of War, big franchise for Xbox back in the day. Gears of War.
It was dominating in the Xbox 360 era.
Yeah.
I've played a few of. Actually, I think I played 4 of those games to completion. But I will say it was never totally like something that was like, oh, I can't wait for Gears of War. I know it's got its fan base, and there were people very excited about this announcement. It was always a little like, dude, bro, shooter for me, but I still played them. I still had fun with them. It wasn't any great revelation to see a return for it though. It was like, oh hey, maybe I'll check that out at some point. But
So what's
I
happening?
think it's just a cinematic too. No gameplay there.
Yeah, Gears of War E-Day is the next mainline game in the Gears of War universe setting during the pivotal Emergency Day, 14 years before Gears of War. War heroes Marcus Phoenix and Dom Santiago return home to face a new nightmare, the Locust Horde. These subterranean monsters, grotesque and relentless, erupt below, laying siege on humanity itself. Yeah, because they did like a closeout of the series, right? Gears of War 4 was like the final thing they did.
I think 3 kind of closes it out, and then 4 started like a new thing, and then there was a 5, and I think had like a big cliffhanger that people were like waiting on. So there's like at least going to be a 6 after this prequel. I don't know. It seems like it just keeps going.
Fable, yeah, this one.
Hey,
here.
there's another. Yeah, Fable. I'm very excited for this. This is another one of the big ones that people were complaining about the character. the female characters are going in.
Which one were they
So
complaining?
again, it's like, well, here's what makes it even sillier. Fable's an RPG where, in the old games, like it may not have been like a great level of customization, but you could pick, at least in the second one and third one, you could pick male or female. You customize the look of your character a little bit. I guarantee you're going to be able to customize the way your character looks quite a bit in this game. So the fact that people are have a problem with the way this character you're playing as looks here at all really blows my mind, because it's like, even if you don't like the way she looks, how do you not understand that this is going to be a character you're going to be able to completely change their appearance once the game comes out anyway?
Oh
But
yeah, I've
yeah,
seen a lot of this woman in the memes and stuff like that where they go like not attractive female characters or something. They got her making like a weird face.
yeah. I mean, and also like I also will say the world of Fable and the characters in it in general have always been a little frumpy. It's like kind of frumpy British, like even gross at times British humor. So like I'm not expecting like anyone to look like a Superman. I mean, like this guy that's kind of narrating the trailer is schlubby with his shirt off in a red robe, drinking a beer and eating turkey leg on a chair in his living room in the dark. Like every like there's just it's and I don't know. It just is. I'm confused. I'm always confused when I see these arguments pop up online. Um, I think she looks fine. I think the game itself looks great. It's a franchise that's been on the outs for a really long time. And back in the day, this felt like it's kind of like Gears of War, like way back when this was kind of a pillar of Xbox. At least for me, it was one of by far my favorite franchises that they had. So it's really nice to see a comeback here. This is being developed by a different studio that made any of the previous ones. I believe it's the studio that normally does like the Forza Horizon like racing games. So this is like super out of their wheelhouse.
Playground Games confirms
Playground,
founder
yes.
Eidos Montreal. So you have that. Then you have Doom: The Dark Ages.
This was the number one like crown jewel of the showcase for me. This whole trailer was just amazing, beginning to end. Aesthetic of everything. This is a prequel to the two recent games. Before the 2016 game, and there's all this lore and backstory that they go into about the time that this character spent in Argent Tenor, which is this dimension that has a kind of techno sci-fi medieval aesthetic to it, like holographic knights and all sorts of weird stuff. And the 2016 game, it opens with you like awakening out of a coffin, and you read like a document about how these hell priests dropped an entire castle on you because it was the only way they could figure out how to stop you, and you're like waking up from that happening. So if this game doesn't have like a giant action scene where you get a castle dropped on your face, I'll be disappointed. But tons of new elements here. Some of these enemy designs are new.
Holy
Look
shit! You
awesome.
could be a giant mech.
Piloting a giant mech. The dragon with the laser wings, that was in the previous game, but that that chainsaw shield he's throwing around, that's new. That looks a really cool looking weapon.
Captain America, eat your heart out.
Yes, exactly.
This is 2025. It's gonna be out there. We also have Call of Duty Black Ops 6. We have that director reveals campaign multiplayer zombies. So we mentioned that. Is Call of Duty still doing zombies? I guess they are. They're still doing zombies.
There you go.
And this is set in the early 1990s. There.
Yeah, Bill Clinton's in the trailer.
Oh, is he? Let me see.
Yeah, it's like Bill Clinton and.
Oh, like them just as archive footage, or like actual, like he's like a like.
I'm pretty sure there's like in-game models.
Okay, let me see.
And it's possible that might have been from a previous teaser from before the Xbox showcase, but
Yeah, I haven't played a Call of Duty game in so long. I think the last one I played was maybe the first Black Ops there, maybe. Or Black Ops
Wow, it's
2.
going back quite a ways.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah, typical
It
Call of
was just,
Duty stuff.
it's the Call of Duty. It's never been my franchise. The military shooter thing has just never really been up my alley. But I mean, it's hard to argue that it looks good graphically. Um, and for if the people that are into Call of Duty, I feel like it looks like more Call of Duty.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure the footage also showed Saddam Hussein too, somewhere in there.
Ulysses said, "Will this Call of Duty let you play as Nicki Minaj too? Maybe there'll
That's
be
a
a
great,
Nicki Minaj skin there. You could do there.
Warzone is the one that's like the live service one that like has all of it's kind of chasing Fortnite, right? It's kind of trying to be Fortnite a little bit, so it keeps throwing all the just like celebrity skin and
Yeah,
like Attack on Titan stuff thrown in there randomly, and I don't know, Godzilla and Nicki Minaj and the Armored Titan all fighting each
Homelander.
other.
They added the boys was in there too. They added the boys.
Yeah, that's just I don't know. It seems weird. It seems like Call of Duty still puts out their individual titles like this, but Warzone, I mean, it must be successful enough, but it does feel like it feels like Fortnite came along, kind of made Call of Duty old hat, and now Call of Duty is pulled in trying to do all these crossovers to try and keep up with Fortnite and try and compete with it, but I don't know. I don't know if that's working or not because I'm so out of the sphere on that whole thing. But
Then you have Avowed, and
I am also interested in Avowed. Not as big as Doom the Dark Ages, but this is Obsidian, the studio behind like Fallout New Vegas and a whole bunch of other classic RPGs, Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic 2, Pillars of Eternity, and I believe this takes place in the Pillars of Eternity universe, which that's like a much more hardline, like top-down RPG on the PC. But it kind of feels like they have their Fallout New Vegas, that's Obsidian's Fallout. In some ways, this kind of feels like Obsidian going, we can't get access to Elder Scrolls. Let's do our first-person fantasy RPG. And I'm actually a lot more interested in this than I would be in like if they announced Elder Scrolls 6, just because I think this has a lot more personality and it's the color scheme that it's using, some of the visuals of fantasy that it has going on here.
mm,
Um, I think this looks pretty cool. They just did a bigger gameplay demonstration this week. I was listening to some stuff earlier today. 30-hour RPG sounds wonderful. I would love for some of these RPGs to get shorter again. Also, that cover art I think is fantastic with like the decayed body and all the different colored fungus or fungi growing in it, making up the different parts. That's a great aesthetic it's got going on.
this was released 2024.
Yeah, they haven't announced a release date yet, although I think they might have accidentally released or put out a November date and then like took it down really quick.
Mm.
But it's definitely supposed to be coming out this year still.
And then the last one here, Age of Mythology Retold.
And that's another one of those kind of civilization. Again, I have a co-host who is going to probably be super into this because it's management and you got probably got some spreadsheets in there somewhere.
Oh yeah,
Like big overworld. I think what's cool here is that you're sending like the gods after each other for these different civilizations, and it's not purely just the actual like realistic civilization itself. But I think the fact that they're also throwing in all the fantasy elements and you can have these gods try and like sink each other's cities and stuff. I think that's pretty fun. But again, that kind of city management, overworld, big, grow your army, grow your civilization type thing. Not for me, but again, I know people that'll love it.
And then we got one last one, and then we're gonna be announced the Day of Devs 2024. We have Simpler Times. We got that one. So let me know if
Now,
anything.
this is the day of the devs. I can tell you, there's only one big one in here that I thought was like really like, oh wow, this is like capturing my attention personally, my interest, and that was the game Karma. I think was that Karma: The Dark World.
Yeah.
This I think looks really spectacular. It's another Chinese developed game. Uh, First person horror game, very kind of weird, trippy psychological thriller. It reminds me of Control a bit, kind of some of that liminal space horror where it's the kind of making something unsettling out of the mundane. Um, but I love the way this looks. It's taking place in like kind of a corporate dystopia, science fiction world, very 1984. I think this looks awesome. I'm loving everything I'm seeing here, and I hope this comes out in the very near future.
Let's see. Karma: The Dark World from the China-based Polar studio Karma studio. Karma the Dark is the first-person narrative game where you play as a man named Daniel. Daniel exists in a dystopian version of the real world in 1984. We're just like in 1984, George Orwell.
There you go.
And we're really there. Where he is an agent of the Leviathan Corporation. Well, I mean, that's kind of his fault for working for a corporation called Leviathan. I mean,
Yeah, that name should really set off some red flags during the application process.
dives into people's minds and uncovers the truth behind events. Over the course of the story, he will find his loyalty to the company challenged by what he discovers, and those discoveries seem pretty upsetting. Karma: The Dark World reveals in the psychological and body horror. Reveals in the psychological body and body horror. So it's not for the faint of heart. It's coming out on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC at a later date. There.
Good chance that'll be next year then.
UFO 50. That was one you sent me. I think you said you were kind of interested in that one, right? UFO 50.
Did I? I don't recall that one.
Oh, okay. Cozy Grove Camp Spirit. Cora. Here.
There was one other horror game in there. I'm trying to remember. Psychorama. That was the one.
Okay.
The Psychorama trailer. So that's also looks to be a horror game. Again, just not that much to go off, but I think a really interesting aesthetic. Feels very different from what you'd expect for a horror game, playing with that pixel art kind of thing. Real interesting puzzle. It looks like very much an old school kind of puzzle, maybe even some point and click type stuff. Great aesthetic. This whole show is filled with so many indie games. These two were the ones that spoke to me personally. A lot of other stuff didn't totally capture my attention, but there is a lot here. They showed this. This was like another 2 hours after the Summer Games Fest. This whole thing went for like 4 hours if you include this. So there's a lot of stuff here that I'm sure is going to appeal to a wide variety of different people. Those were just the two that caught my eye.
This one looks kind of interesting. Pedal Runner. This one looks kind of interesting. He does the Akira slide in it too. I was a sucker for the Akira slide. There. So he does that one. Let me see what this is about here. Pedal Runner. You like a Game Boy Advance style RPGs? You're getting a Game Boy style RPG from Nano Park Studios. Pedal Runner is a lovely throwback to the retro era about two couriers known as pedal runners who drive around a place called Sapphire Valley, making deliveries in a world where flowers are a fuel source, powering beloved virtual pets. Pedal Runner is coming to PC via Steam at a later date. That you kind of have here. Seems like your type of thing.
No, I don't think so. I see exactly what it's going for, though. I think if you're super into Pokemon back in the day,
Oh yeah,
like this would be super appealing. But
yeah, it does have that Pokemon look to it. Yeah, and then he's carrying around. What we used to when people used to call those things pocket pets or
was it Tamagotchi?
was that what it's called? Yeah, we used to have the little
I think
virtual.
I think that was it.
Yeah,
Because
you
the
feed it.
Tamagotchi were the little pet that yeah, and then they die because, inevitably you'd forget about it.
Yeah, you get to feed it, and it dies. Yeah, really prepared you for having a real pet there, and to let that one die. Prepared you for that. Yeah. So that was a lot of the video game announcements there. Long list of stuff there. That we talked
Yeah,
about.
pretty much. It was like 5, 6 different shows all in one, and announcement. There's still, a couple other things throughout the year, but that was like announcement season.
Yeah. Yeah, great show. Sage, let people know where they can find you. Jack coming up next. Everything about you, man.
Okay. You can find me over at Rated M for Immaturity on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all under that same handle. Tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. CST, we're going to be wrapping up our stream of Uncharted 3, and then might be some debate about what we're doing next. We also just recently finished up, uh, finally, our Elden Ring series, which took 50 streams, and we are moving on to Evil West, which is a nice little horror game. Not horror, but Doom meets Red Dead Redemption Western Monster Hunter thing. Very fun. And got a whole bunch of other stuff. We'll get back to that Elden Ring DLC soon and probably do another 50 episodes for it. But yeah, got a whole bunch of variety of stuff. We try and switch it up as often as we can. Not too many of those long RPGs, but yeah.
And this is your YouTube right here. If people wanted to check it out.
Yeah, see if we can get to 30 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, close to that right there. Posting up the streams there.
Yep, all our VODs go up there. So any back catalog, any playthrough we do, there's always kind of a record of it you can go back to.
Nice. Very good. And with us, you can see us on all the social medias: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, all the Afternoon Tune. Just type that in, you'll be able to find us. If you want to send us an email, you can do so at theafternoontune@gmail.com. We're usually streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/afternoon every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday there. Trying to get to 600 followers on Twitch. That'd be awesome. We could do that. YouTube.com, posting up clips, discussions, reviews, interviews, all that good stuff there. YouTube.com. If you can find us there, trying to get to 2K subs by the end of the year. That'd be awesome if we could do that. If anybody's on, you see anybody on that is on your side, or you listen to there that I can raid there. I see Tiger Woods Gaming is playing Elden Ring. He's playing at Elden Ring.
My computer is not loading my page right now, so I actually can't see.
I'll raid Tiger Woods Gaming since he's playing that Elden Ring. I'll go ahead and raid him. There we go. Thank you, Sage, for staying with me this long show. Thank you
Yeah.
for staying with me here.
Hey, happy to be here, man.
So yeah, I'm gonna send you guys over to Tiger Woods Gaming playing that Elden Ring there. Thank you to Ulysses. Thank you to Radical. Thank you to Doozle. Thank you to Sarah for stopping by. Very much appreciated. Thank you for your help in this stream, and to everybody, stay tuned. Awesome stuff.
Hell yeah.